welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following episode. My name is Colton Brown. Joining me is Andrew Meadows.
None other than Andrew Meadows. I am here, sir.
None other than. That's right.
Just me. Sorry to disappoint. How are you tonight, my friend?
I feel, it's 2025, man. So I don't know how I feel, but I do know we've got lots of things to talk about on this episode, okay? So I can tell you that much.
We've got a few things. It's going to be an interesting podcast. This is I don't know what annual podcast or episode this is. What is this? This is our...
In terms of like episode number? Or
no, what? Like our 5th annual look ahead episode? Yes. 6th annual?
I think probably 7th annual, because
I
think we
7th annual. Wow.
Would have started in 2017, which is to say we wouldn't have done this episode in 2017, so we would have been doing it starting 2018, so 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 8th? No,
I want to
straight up our 8th annual.
I'm going to put this in perspective, Colton. I've never celebrated 8 anniversaries of anything.
No. Well,
but I celebrate them with you.
Yeah.
We've been doing this a long time.
We've been doing it before we recorded a long time. We didn't make a big list of things coming out, for the year in film and television, of course. But we probably had these conversations anyway.
Absolutely, every time.
They weren't as formal or as structured or researched and stuff like that. But we'd be watching movie trailers. We'd be talking about them. We'd still be doing that. And now we just, added a little organization and, and we're documenting it for everything, for everyone to listen to, for us to go back to in 10 years so we can... Or even just at the end of the year, at the end of the year, look back and think,
receipts.
Oh, we were really excited about that thing that we didn't watch, or like you thought that one was going to be great and it was dog shit, or that one looked like ass and it was the most surprising film of the year, like those are the things that we can kind of go back to, for those receipts of those things. Exactly. So, this is our 8th annual A Look Ahead episode, and this is the 2025 edition. Mentioned the year already, obviously, but we're looking ahead to all of the films and TV shows coming out in 2025. I say all, we're not literally talking about every single piece of content that will be coming out. That would take us far, far too long. This will take long enough as it is. We don't need to overburden ourselves with even more things. But we're going to talk about as much as we can, and
we're gonna have fun doing it. I love these episodes.
We're gonna have fun. These are very fun. It's nice prep for us because we're not watching a movie. We're not watching 8 episodes of a TV show. We just plop down in a chair, couch, wherever is the most comfortable, and we watch like fucking 20 trailers. We just bang them out. Kind of all the things that like towards the end of the year, like probably would have been things for the news for other episodes, but kind of because of our recording schedule, it's like, well, we know this is coming up. Yeah. Let's bank them up. Let's save them, and then let's talk about them all on one big episode. Obviously, the exception, we will talk about it again on this episode, but we did like a little special section for the Superman trailer on the Nosferatu episode a few episodes ago.
That is true.
But it's because we couldn't wait. We wanted to talk about it as soon as we really could. But yeah, really, really excited to get into all these things with you. I will ask, before we really kind of fully set the stage and start talking about all of these things and, properly getting into it, because this is effectively just a news episode. I did want to ask, is there a fun fact about 2025 you want to throw out? Is there anything else? Do you have a dad joke you want? Do you want to add some usual segments to start?
Well, I do.
This one.
While I do have a dad joke. I wish I had an interesting thing to say about 2025.
Is it over yet? Is that the question?
Yeah, I don't know. We got a long way to go. Let's see. I don't really have a lot of fun facts about 2025. It's not been terribly fun since it started. Work's been pretty good, so that's cool.
Okay, take that.
Yeah, but aside from that, it's been, there's been interesting headlines. We're moving in a direction as a people, and it's.
I think that's fair to say. Yes.
and we're all just kind of along for the ride. But I'm going to pose a question to you, sir.
Okay. All right.
What is the difference between a hippo and a Zippo? A hippo.
Something about a lighter. I don't know.
A hippo is really heavy. Okay. And a Zippo is a little lighter.
I mean, I was on the right track. I will, it has to be said, I was on the right track. I did not get there.
We're on the right track.
Something about a lighter.
Damn,
and I had the thought of like lighter and heavy, and I didn't really know how to put that together. So I can't take credit for that one. So I've been
close,
stumped.
though. You were close.
I've been stumped yet again. Better than some of my other performances, I guess, but still not there. But alas.
So, do you have any fun facts about 2025?
No. 2025 is it's just it's gonna, hopefully it'll just be another year in our life.
It will. They always
we'll
are.
Be able to turn the page and look back on it and maybe forget about it. But maybe it will bring us some memorable things. I don't know. We'll see. I don't have a fun fact about it though. I really don't. But maybe we'll come up with some fun facts about all the things coming out in 2025. I think maybe that's where we can look for some fun, some joy in our lives, because 2025, it's a year, first of a few, one might speculate, where we're going to need escapism perhaps more than ever.
My favorite thing, dude. It's my favorite thing.
And maybe there's nothing better in this world, or at least in the year of 2025, to just 2.5 hours, just
out of it.
Just go into a movie, dark theater, just a bright screen,
no interactions
sound.
With people.
Hopefully no corn on the cobs being consumed.
Yeah,
hopefully no phones being looked at, no watches being checked. You're just in the zone, and that's where you are, and that's where your brain is. Or maybe you're at home, and there's 8 hours of a TV show, there's 10 hours of a TV show, there's 15 hours of a TV show, maybe there's 24 hours of a TV show. I don't know, it's a lot. Most shows don't go that long these days, but there might be some network shows that maybe do that. I don't know. But that maybe that's what 2025 can really give us is just a
way out,
another year of a way out, of a way of just turning your brain off from the world around you, and it can help people grow as people. Maybe they can, right? Maybe it's not just escapism. Maybe it's maybe there's some themes, some lessons, some growth that can be achieved through a medium that maybe challenges your beliefs, or
that's right, poses certain situations that you wouldn't
unexpected
normally. Yeah,
that's a good point. It doesn't have to just be about shutting your brain off. Maybe it should be unlocking your brain, and limitless. You only use 5% of it. So if you take this pill, you'll fucking totally get it, man. Like, you're going to be so smart and cool, dude. Maybe that's what these things can offer. We can only hope. Maybe a bit of both. Sometimes you want to shut your brain off. Sometimes you want to be challenged, and sometimes you want to feel things, and be pushed and respond. So,
I wish I could just pull the. I know I've seen it 1,000,001 times. I wish I could pull the Nicole Kidman quotes out of that AMC thing.
Oh, yeah.
We come to this place.
We come to the cinema. Let's find it. It has to be said, because at the end of the day, she's right.
She is
come
right.
to this place for magic. We come to AMC theaters to laugh, to cry, to care. I'm like debating whether I should try to slip into her, sort of Australian accent that she's like, slips in and out of, because she's clearly spending some time away from the place down under. Because we need that, all of us, that indescribable feeling we get when the lights begin to dim and we go somewhere we've never been before, not just entertained, but somehow reborn together. Dazzling images on a huge silver screen, sound that I can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Our heroes feel like the best part of us, and stories feel perfect and powerful because here they are.
Amazing. Brings a little tear.
Theaters.
Brings a little
We
tear
make
to my
movies
eye.
better. Paycheck, please. Thank you very much. This episode brought to you by AMC Theaters. And I'll tell you what, most of these movies that I watched this year going to be brought to me by AMC Theaters because, unlike you, I still have a list. Maybe you'll resubscribe later this year. We'll see.
It's been the single most biggest regret of my 2024 year.
Yeah, well, you weren't seeing a lot of things that probably made sense. Maybe there will come a point where, once you've served your 6-month sentence or whatever it is, that you can go back and summertime will bring you back to the theaters.
Summertime's going to bring another baby child.
You might be busy elsewhere, so perhaps not. Perhaps not. That might be overly optimistic of me to say. All right, are you ready to?
Let's dive in, dude. What do we got? Shit.
So to set the stage for this, beyond setting the stage that I've already done, I mean, how better to set the stage than fucking Nicole? I should have just plopped her audio in there. Should have just plopped it in there. But I had fun reading it, I will confess. This is, as I said, not an exhaustive list of everything coming out in 2025, particularly on the TV side of things. It's definitely cut down. In both the TV and film side of things, it's very early year heavy. We have a lot more trailers and dates announced for stuff obviously coming out in the next few months as opposed to later in the year. Of course, all these dates are subject to change. Between COVID and the strikes, recently, I think people are well aware that, don't fall in love with a certain thing coming out on a certain date because it may not happen. I think this year is probably going to have a little bit more stability in terms of film and TV things, I hope. But you never know. We'll see. We're talking, not every trailer that came out. We did kind of curate some to watch and stuff, and there's some others here that I've seen on TV and in theaters and stuff that I didn't ask Andrew to watch. He may have seen independently anyway. We'll see. We'll get into that. But there's lots, basically trailers available for most of these things. If I remember, I'll note where there is. But again, pretty much assume that anything coming out in the next few months probably has at least a teaser available. We, in the interest of full disclosure, we are actually recording this before our last set of episodes, the 2024 A Year in Review. We are doing that because we want more time to watch things in preparation for that episode, and this was easier to prep for. And Andrew's going on a little bit of a trip soon, so there's kind of a window where it made sense for us to record, and this was the easiest thing, the most logical thing to slot in. So we are recording this before the end of January. This will obviously, anyone listening will be able to attest to the fact that they are not hearing it in January, unless they're on Patreon. Good job, Patreon supporters. Look at that. Way ahead of the curve, way ahead of everyone else. Patreon.com/watch of your repeat. Want the full details? Stay to the end of the episode. So if there's like a big trailer that it feels like, wow, it's weird that they're not talking about this, it's probably because it wasn't available to watch at the time that we recorded, which is a few weeks before, at least a few weeks before this episode is like fully out to the regular listeners. So bear that in mind. I think we did the same thing last year. I don't know if we actually said as much. Maybe we just tried to pretend like, we were, super ahead of the curve, but I'm just throwing it out there so that people are aware of like why we might be missing like one big, like if the Superman trailer had come out tomorrow, we'd feel like fucking morons.
True.
So there might be something like that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it will be. Maybe the Stranger Things 5 trailer. I don't know. We'll see. But if we're missing something, that's why. So we'll circle back around to it when we start getting into our proper 2025 content, whatever that ends up being as our, first episode or two. We'll be catching up on the stuff that we missed on this episode. But this episode should kind of mostly get us back onto, we're good in terms of news. We tried to cover all the 2026 plus content on our Nosferatu episode because that was our first episode we technically recorded in 2025. And in this one, we are talking about everything basically on tap for this year. So we're going to speculate about things. We might have some predictions about, how things might go, what we're most excited for. This is just a chance for us to see what's coming up, talk about it, and kind of have things on our radar. And, we won't cover all of these, obviously. Andrew's busy, plenty busy now. He's, as we talked about, going to be very, very, very busy.
Dude, it's
come the summer months.
Wild.
So we'll cover what we can cover, what we can, get the opportunity to both see, and spend some time talking about. So, don't expect us to be necessarily much better in terms of recording stuff than we were in 2024, but we will do it where we can, when we can, because we like to, and I think for both of us, it's a fun outlet. But
a little bit of escapism, if you will.
It is a bit of escapism, that's for sure. But it's obviously not sustainable for us to, be putting tens of hours into it on a weekly basis, maybe in the way that we once upon a time were.
The glory days, right?
Just not sustainable. We've got other things going on in our life, both Andrew and I. So let's get into things. We're going to start obviously on the television side. I think how we did it last year is how we're doing it this year. And I know in years past, we've kind of gone by like streaming service, network, that sort of thing. And I kind of feel like that we've gotten bogged down into a lot of stuff. I think the easiest way to keep this moving is to kind of just look at the calendar year and kind of go in order. And then obviously there are going to be some things that they don't have dates. We know they're coming sometime in 2025, so we'll save those for last in terms of the television stuff. So the appropriate place to start is in January, which, depending on when you're listening, is either in the past, or it's the right now. It's the right now for us. But going back a little bit, January 9th, we got a double dose of TV shows that we watched trailers for. We're going to talk about them. So January 9th, The Pit on Max. This is a really interesting one. Definitely one on my radar.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting kind of mashup almost of ER and 24. It's effectively, what if we made a TV show that covers a single 15-hour shift of doctors in an emergency room in Pittsburgh? And it's straight up 15 episodes, trying to basically, I think, capture this, the entire shift in real time, which is really, really fascinating. So this is streaming on Max. It has started streaming, like I said, January 9th. It's weekly releases, so it'll actually run through March, so it won't finish up for a little while. Stars Noah Wyle as the main character, which is very interesting because he's one of the major characters in ER, kind of coming back to a type of role that he certainly played for many years of his life. I've been watching a lot of ER. I think I talked about it maybe on the Nosferatu episode. I think we're in season 6 of, I think, maybe 14 or 15. Anna wants to watch all of ER and then watch The Pit. So by the time we get to The Pit, it'll probably be the end of the year. Or I don't know. It depends on how fast we binge. But ER, there's like 300 episodes. Yeah. There's a fucking ton of it. It's like Grey's. Actually, probably even less than Grey's at this point now, but same deal, same idea. So I'm really, really into the concept of this. I've heard good things. Reviews I think have been pretty good and all that.
It looks
How about
intense.
you? What do you think?
Yeah, it looks...
You into something like this?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know it was... I figured it was another Grey's kind of deal. You know what I mean? I didn't know there was a one section thing, like a one period of time kind of deal that it was trying to do. That just kind of like ups the stakes a little bit, and I think it's going to make it much more intense. It looks very intense. It opens up with a guy trying to jump off a building, it looks like, you know what I mean? Or thinking, at the very least.
Yeah, no, definitely intense. Definitely, I think, ER got pretty graphic, but this looks, it's on a streaming service. They don't really need to hold back. They can say fuck and, and show some pretty gnarly stuff, in terms of the medical procedures. So and from what I've heard, it really is, pretty in your face about, I guess, how bad things can be. Neither of us are doctors. It obviously bears mention.
Yep.
But I'd be curious what medical professionals like. I always enjoy. I'll say, as a lawyer, I love watching Law and Order. As inaccurate as it is, frequently, it's still very, very enjoyable to me. So I don't know if the same principle is true here, or if this is like maybe more realistic and too close. You almost need that degree of separation. I really don't know. But I'd be curious to hear a perspective from someone that
is present in the field,
knows this world. Because that's what they live. But yeah, it's really interesting. It is one of the same co-creators as ER, who was also a co-creator on The West Wing. So I'm really or at least a showrunner on The West Wing. I think the later seasons. I don't know if he actually
it looked tight
created
too.
it.
You know what I mean? It looked like there was a lot of on-screen like chemistry. Looks well acted. I'm excited. I'm going to propose it to Sarah. She was wanting to get back into Grey's. And there's a degree of like, interpersonal relationships and stuff in Grey's that makes it kind of easy to kind of tack onto it. You know what I mean? Because there's drama there. Sure. But this looks much more, I don't know. Like you said, with 24 is a really, really cool approach, I think. So therefore, I'm there.
All right. So I think we're going to go with a consensus yay on that.
Yay.
Definitely want to watch. Don't know when I will get to watch, but definitely hope to watch by the end of 2025 at a minimum. So, all right. So we're starting off on a good note. How about the same date, January 9th, which brought us American Primeval, Netflix limited series or miniseries rather, starring Gambit himself, Taylor Kitsch, as well as Betty Gilpin. 1857, set during the Utah War. Conflict between the Mormons and other cultures in the Utah territory. What'd you think about this? This is 6 episodes. It is all up on Netflix now. I think directed by Peter Berg, who's worked on Friday Night Lights and I think kind of other stuff like this. The Kingdom. I guess not like this. This is definitely, I guess, a different setting for him. But like Lone Survivor, he did with Taylor Kitsch. Battleship, that really cool 2012 movie with Rihanna in it. Hancock, some other things. What do you think? Does this spark any interest for you? What do you think?
It sparks the interest in a Western. I'd like to see a Western. I don't know if I'd necessarily need to see this Western.
Okay.
I don't.
Did you watch Kevin Costner's fucking epic Horizon: An American Saga?
Did you watch it?
No. Well, because it was supposed to be the 2-parter. And then they bail. They put part 1 in theaters, and then it bombed. So they're like, we'll just put part 2 out at some point in the future. I don't even think I put it on the list because I don't know when the hell it's supposed to come out. Oh, it probably is going to come out this year.
It was supposed to be a back-to-back situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a month apart that they were supposed to release like part 1 and part 2 is like this big, multi-hour epic Western thing, and then they didn't even bother to put part 2 out.
Yeah, that's. It's real shit.
So it's not great. But anyway, so this is still not maybe the right thing to scratch the itch, is what you're maybe saying.
No, it looked like it had some CG shit. Like there was a cow like running into a stagecoach that was super CG.
Sure.
There was like like an arrow went through somebody's head and it looked super CG, and it's. I don't know. Like people have been making Westerns since film has been a thing. I don't need CG in my Westerns. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just didn't look right to me. So I don't really have a big interest.
All right. Well, it is, if you have some time, 6 episodes, it's all up now. The reviews are okay to good to, like solid. 66% Rotten Tomatoes from 47 reviews, average rating of 6.4 out of 10. So you're probably not missing a ton, but you could do worse. It's probably what it seems like. Okay. So I'm gonna agree with you. I think that there's probably something in here that's enjoyable for folks that really are into this, like this cast. But in a world where there's lots and lots of TV, not only coming out in 2025, but that came out in 2024 that I still haven't watched, 2023 that I haven't watched, so on and so forth.
It's got to be something special.
Cut? I don't know. Probably not. But it is out there for folks that are itching for something to watch like right now, that really need something to watch right now. This is out there. So something else that's out there, or at least has started, is the 2nd season of Severance, which is the Apple TV Plus series starring Adam Scott, which... I
think Enrique really likes that, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people really, really like it. It got rave reviews when that first season came out.
I don't even know what it's about.
At least a couple years ago. It's like, I think basically when you go to work, you basically like put aside your entire non-work memories. So you like lock into just your work persona. And then when you leave work, you forget everything that happened while you're at work. I think so. There's the severance, but
it's like what I do.
Parts of your... That's what you try to do anyway. But there's like technology or whatever that's kind of impacting that. And I assume that there's some sort of maybe shady stuff going on with the corporation, or I don't know. I don't know that for a fact. I never watched the first season, which came out in 2022, just for the record. But it got amazing reviews. I think people really, really liked it. So I'm curious to give this a go. Apple TV Plus really seems to have a lot of really quality shows on there. Silo's another one I think that came out last year that
Leggy Bay Ferguson. Yeah,
with Leggy Bay Ferguson in it, that I would like to watch. There's definitely other stuff on there. Ted Lasso I still need to catch up on, obviously.
I'm not going to start.
So they seem to know what they're doing, and I think this is only an episode or two in, I think, as of recording, running through March of this year as well. But early reviews, I think, on season 2 are just as stellar as they were for season 1. So it doesn't seem like, at least so far, there's some big drop off in quality, which is certainly encouraging.
I also know, this is on a side note because there's no trailer to watch or anything else, but the Apple TV is also going to get the next season of Long Way Down or Long Way Round or whatever.
Is that the Ewan McGregor one?
Yeah. They're going to get
motorcycle stuff.
Yeah, motorcycle adventure. I can't recommend that enough. I think I watched that. I think I watched it not last year. I think I watched it the year before.
I recall us talking about it, but I couldn't specifically place when that was.
It's an incredible show. Long way, all of them are. They're very good. But yeah, Apple TV is going to be getting that too. So
okay, nice. Another thing to be on the radar.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Any other thoughts? Severance season 2. You think you might go in on Severance this year?
I could. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I would like to. We'll see if it happens.
We'll see if it happens.
I'm just saying it right now. I would like to.
It'll be easier to plan it if I know you're going to watch it and I know that we're going to talk about it because there's so much stuff coming out.
Right. I know. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I'm still trying to, because of when we're recording this, I can say I'm still trying to do the catch up on the 2024 stuff. So it's hard for me to turn my attention to not only a new thing, in 2025, but one that has, 8-10 episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
Of something that I didn't watch already. So it's it's homework on top of, getting ready for the new thing. And I'm sure it's very good and it's very rewarding and intense and all that stuff, but it is at the same time close to 8 hours anyway you spend it. So you got to find that time somewhere. And that's often the struggle.
That is the struggle.
So we'll see what happens, but if I can fit it in, great. That's certainly the hope. But again, by all accounts, it sounds like Severance is continuing the strong direction the first season set. So it's out there, for people interested. Maybe weren't aware that it was back. Watch the first season. Now you know. So that started on the 17th. Like I said, we'll run through March. Put these out of order. Whoops. January 16th, if you go back one day, Netflix brought us the second season of Castlevania Nocturne. So because it's a Netflix show, this is now all out there. I know we talked about the trailer for this probably within the past few months when we got, I think, the teaser.
It's out now?
It is out. It's on Netflix. The whole second season is available to watch.
Damn.
This feels like a show that you will probably make time for. I feel like you definitely enjoyed the first season.
For sure. Yeah, I'm there for that.
I liked what I saw of the first season, but I still didn't finish it. I think I said as much when we talked about the trailer that I would like to go back and finish that so I can go into the second season. And this, to me, first of all, it's something Anna doesn't watch, so I can definitely just watch it on my own time, and that's probably somewhat helpful in some ways. But I also think 8 30-minute episodes is a lot. It's so much more bingeable than something.
Absolutely.
To me, like a Severance, where it's probably 8 pretty heady hours.
Think about this shit. Actually, just watch it tomorrow because you don't want to watch 2 episodes in one night.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think Castlevania definitely has much more of a bingeable, quality to it.
For sure.
So I could definitely see myself going in on Castlevania Nocturne, fully deep on it. So what do you think? You're probably gonna get
it. I had actually been I finished Blue Eye Samurai a couple of I don't know, maybe a week ago, and I was looking forward to this dropping. It's just I would check it almost every day, and it had not dropped yet. So I'm excited to hear that it is finally out, and I'm definitely there for it. So
cool.
I will be watching that.
Right. All right. Rounding out January 29th, we will be getting on Disney Plus Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Spider-Man, which is an animated television show, an animated television program. They're going to be dropping 2 episodes on that date, and then they will drop multiples of episodes throughout February, so it'll finish up February 19th. So it'll be January into February of like 10 episodes. Yes, 10 episodes is what the total will be.
Okay.
It's kind of an interesting thing. It is from Marvel Animation, the arm of Marvel Studios. It's in, I think, the MCU multiverse, I guess, probably overall. At one point it was intended to be kind of, like an MC origin for the Tom Holland Spider-Man, but I think basically the showrunner creator basically said they moved away from that because they found it too restricting, because it's like,
okay,
you can't incorporate Norman Osborn naturally in a way that doesn't conflict with, all these other things happening and the villains and stuff like that. It just wouldn't make sense for him to have fought maybe the villains that they're planning on using in this show and still have it canonically
makes sense, yeah,
in line with what had come before. So it is kind of separated from that, but using an MCU like, I guess, style overall, where I think Norman is kind of the Tony Stark like mentor is kind of what happens with this. So he's got a Norman Osborn suit at the end of this trailer, which is obviously not the same as what the Tony Stark suit is. So that's kind of that idea here.
I like is that the animated? Is that I feel like that's the animated Norman Osborn look.
Definitely.
Or is it the comics? Is it the comic look?
A bit of both, and a bit of neither, because I think he's voiced by Coleman Domingo, so he's seems to be portrayed as a man of color here, which is certainly a departure from both the comics and the animated show. But the hair has always kind of had that sort of texture into it. For him and Harry. So that's definitely present here. What do you think about the trailer for this?
Yeah,
is this something
yeah, for sure. I like the style of it. I think it's, I don't know.
Definitely like a classic 60s comic booky sort of art style that it seems to be.
It's fun. It's interesting. I think that the betrayal there between, I guess, Norman and Peter's probably going to be pretty profound. It usually is. It's good Spider-Man stuff. I'm here for it.
Okay. All right. I'm ambivalent myself. I think it has the potential to be interesting. It wasn't wowed by this particular trailer, but I would be curious to see kind of what the reviews come in looking like in terms of, how fun and comic booky it is. Like it feels like sort of Spider-Man origin-y sort of thing is kind of played out.
Yeah.
But and this is not literally an origin, but I seeing even just like the homemade suit, I'm like, I don't know, just let Spider-Man be Spider-Man, it's kind of, and so that's kind of what I would like to see. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm curious without being enthused. There's certainly other things that would draw my attention more immediately. Let's put it that way. But I could be persuaded. I mean, I love Spider-Man as a character, so I think there's definitely potential here. But this is not top of my list, at least. Let's put it that way. So
fair enough.
But that's January 29th into February. That'll wrap up. That's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, Disney Plus. Moving into February, we're going to kick off February 6th with the 3rd season of Invincible coming to Prime Video.
Ooh.
I didn't watch the trailer for this because I'm still very behind on this, which is to say I have not watched any of Invincible.
Damn.
Kind of felt like maybe I shouldn't, be watching trailers for future seasons when it is a show that I think I would really, really want to get into and have not yet. So I kind of left it on you because I think you were caught up on this.
I think I'm halfway through the 2nd season, right? They did a split season thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they had like some pretty slow.
Because I was surprised to see that there was a 3rd season coming out.
A 3rd season.
Yeah, it's like
you're right. I'm looking at it now. So yeah, season 2 was split actually between the tail end of 2023 and then March into April of 2024. So. So this is actually coming out less than a year after season 2, I guess, officially wrapped up, but it was kind of a slow burn because that first season was 2021 and then it was
a couple years, right? Or
2.5 into 3 year gap between season 1 being complete and season 2 being complete. So pretty big gap, which obviously animation takes a lot of time. It's a lot of hard work that goes into it.
For
Not
sure.
faulting anyone, to be clear. But it was a pretty big gap between seasons. So yeah, I guess I'd kind of forgot that they had done that full split with season 2. I guess what happens when you haven't watched any of it. They also did that special on, I think, on the Adam Eve or something like that character.
Who was it?
So Adam Eve, they did like a one-off
yeah,
episode
yeah,
deal,
that
I
was
think,
cool.
before season 2.
Yeah, I watched that.
So okay, well, I didn't mean to spoil you on things if you did indeed watch this.
I did watch it.
apologize in advance.
Okay. I can't quite remember what I don't like. The lines are blurred from where we left off, right? And it didn't really show anything terribly.
Okay.
It's been a long time, so
yeah, fair enough. So what do you think? Does this tempt you back into finishing season 2 and
Invincible's
into season 3?
cool. I think I'll watch it when I don't have anything else to watch.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it is really good when you do sit down and watch it. So
okay, probably not super baby friendly. Maybe makes it a little bit more complicated, but
it does. But mostly everything gets. I mean, the baby takes control of TV from between the hours of like
certain period of time.
between 6 and 9. He gets
Yeah.
It's all
So
Mickey Mouse and Miss Rachel for 3 hours while we're playing or eating dinner or whatever. He has TV. So.
And then once 9 o'clock hits, it says time for bed, baby.
That's it. It's almost, unless we're watching like a Disney cartoon, then that may linger on the television.
Sure.
Last night was 2 nights ago was Lion King. I finished that shit out. Some good stuff.
Gotcha.
So
You couldn't wait.
Couldn't wait.
No, sucker. You can go back and watch it again, but I'm not waiting for you. Fair enough. All right. Shall we keep plugging along into February?
Keep doing it.
About February 13th, we're going to be getting the very, very final part 3 of season 6 of Cobra Kai. It's many layers deep, but this is it. They split the final season into 3 parts on Netflix. This is the third and final part of season 6 of Cobra Kai. It's all gonna end. Fear not, there will be more Karate Kid content this year. We'll get to that. But this is it for Cobra Kai. Are you up to date on this or behind on this one too?
No, I actually attempted to watch the last thing that came out, and I didn't remember a lot at all.
Okay.
I said, "Fuck, I don't remember any of this." And then I was going to try to watch it to see if it came back to me, but then I just went to bed. So I don't know. I gave it a half-hearted try and didn't really try to finish it out. Right. But tell me this: did this is the last season, or this is the last half of the season? Is it a half season kind of deal?
It was a 3 season split into 3 sort of deal, and this is the final part of it. So, which is to say that come February 13th, the entirety of the season will be available.
That's bullshit.
And that'll be the final season, which is honestly in a sort of way where it's like, well, you waited instead of having to watch it in this bullshit piecemeal fashion.
Yeah. So I'll catch it when the full season's done.
Yeah, this is it. This is once February 13th happens, it will all be available. The entirety of Cobra Kai will be on Netflix. All 6 full seasons. So I myself am on like 3, I think season 3.
It's good
I like
stuff.
it a lot.
Yeah.
I got super behind, tried to catch up, and kind of just gone through waves of getting behind again. So I'm now very, very behind, but would like to work through it at some point. Very, very enjoyable show. Obviously, we covered it very early days on YouTube Red or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah, remember that.
And I think it's just a really fun show, and I think people have really enjoyed even the more recent Netflix seasons. It seems like it's kind of upheld the same sort of quality. So, would like to give this a go. Almost certainly will not be ready in February to watch it, but maybe in sometime in 2025. I'm not committing to a lot. I think I've made that mistake in prior years. Like, I'm definitely going to watch this. No, never.
Let yourself down. Right.
There's a few things in here I will absolutely commit to. I'm confident I will catch them. I think probably things we'll cover. And there are things in here I'm like, I am definitely not watching this now, and I'm not even going to pretend that I will. But I'm putting it out there in case you want to, in case others want to, people listening, are interested. Like this next one, February 14th, season 3 of Yellow Jackets. It's a Showtime show, so it'll be streaming on Paramount Plus with Showtime, which I think is like a higher tier of that platform. I've heard really good things about Yellow Jackets. Would love to watch it. Will it happen this year? Unclear, probably not. But would definitely like it. I think you would definitely like to. I think great cast, really interesting kind of. It's like a past and present sort of deal with like a kind of a Lord of the Flies situation where it's like these, I think it's a group of girls that get stuck somewhere in the 90s, and some shit happens and then they make it out, and then there's kind of the modern day storyline too where they're all grown up. So which is really interesting, and it sounds like it's really compelling. I think another one that's gotten really good reviews as it's been airing. So a third season's coming. So I don't think you've been watching any of it.
No, I don't know anything about Yellow Jackets.
That's my very brief description to sell you on it if you're interested in all. But I guess you need a Paramount Plus with Showtime subscription as well, which is probably somewhat a barrier.
Out of the question.
Barrier to entry for quite a lot of people, I would guess. Because Netflix is raising prices now. Didn't you see that? That's my fun fact. Fun fact of 2025, Netflix continues to raise their fucking prices to asinine levels because
they can.
Number one,
quite honestly.
Number one, because fuck you, and number two, because they can. Because they can.
How about we quit buying every property that is presented to Netflix and just be a little bit more selective and keep the prices where they are,
Yeah, well, they have to afford the Knives Out rights somehow, so...
That's true. That is true.
That's why they're doing it. That's really why they're doing it. February 16th, similar story. Season 3 of The White Lotus is coming to Max. It's an HBO original show. Anthology-styled show. Each season's kind of its own sort of, thing. I've heard good things about both seasons. I think Anna watched at least the first season. It's not anything that's like super, super intrigued me, but I've heard really, really good things about it. I probably would like it if I watched it. I don't know. It's probably similar story for you. I would guess. I don't think you've watched either the first two seasons of this White Lotus.
No, I haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but praise about it. I don't even know what it's about.
Probably would like it. It's like black comedy thing, with.
I do like black comedy. I like that a lot, actually.
I think it's like a lot of entitled rich fucks, going on vacation and just kind of, that sort of thing, and like a different locale in each season. I think season 1's maybe Hawaii, season 2 Sicily, and season 3 I think is Thailand. I think was what we kind of saw. Okay. There's like a little sizzle reel on Max that we'll get to later that showed off some footage from this as well. So for those interested in the White Lotus, season 3 is coming February 16th. So check that out. And then really kind of in the same vein, season 3 of Reacher, February 20th on Prime Video. Alan Richardson, he's a big fucker. Jack Reacher's a big fucker, a lot bigger than when Tom Cruise played him anyway. He's fighting an even bigger dude, like, okay, all right. I've heard like this show's pretty solid and like pretty fun and pretty entertaining, and I probably would enjoy it. I just don't have time for it all. But for those that, are into this sort of thing, here it is. Reacher season 3 is coming February 20th. Get ready. Any thoughts? Any desire to watch?
My father-in-law will be excited about it. I know he...
yeah. It's a classic, like, I don't know. It seems like a dad show a little bit, so...
I've watched episodes in passing, you know what I mean? But I've watched it all out of order.
Yeah, it's not like a young dad show. It's like an old dad, dad show. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, so I'll have to let him know. Season 2's coming.
Yeah. All right. How about February 20th? We're going to be getting a Netflix limited series called 0 Day, which has a stacked motherfucking cast.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Fortuitously, a full trailer dropped the day we're recording, showing off this thing. Political conspiracy thriller centering on a devastating global cyber attack. Maybe President of the United States doing shady shit. What a concept. I don't know. That seems super unrealistic to me. I don't know if I can find that plausible, but I guess I'll try to get over how implausible this show is. Stacked cast: Robert De Niro, Lizzie Kaplan, Jesse Plemons, Joan Allen, Connie Britton, Dan Stevens, Angela Bassett, Matthew Modine, Clark Gregg, others probably. 6-episode deal on Netflix, dropping February 20th. How did you feel about this trailer? Are you interested in this?
Yeah, it looks really good. Or at the very, I can't really say it looks really good, but I can tell you it does look relevant and it does look interesting.
Okay.
At the very least. It's got a very stacked cast. So I would be interested to watch this for sure.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And then there's that part of my brain where it's just like, I don't know if I need this right now. Maybe in like 6 months. 6 months I might be able to entertain it. Maybe even in a month I'll feel differently. But
A little too relevant.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It does seem to be kind of framing it in a way where it's just like, is the United States is doing the right thing. Is like, are they? I don't know. Seems like they're maybe trying to do a bunch of illegal shit. And no, like, I don't know how much is it going to be pushing in that direction of maybe we shouldn't be doing shady shit. Maybe the laws are the law for the reason. I don't know. Like, I don't really know exactly what
It definitely seemed like everybody was giving the guy pushback for breaking the law, and it made the president seems like a conflicted character to where he doesn't really want to be breaking the law, and he knows he's not doing good stuff, but he's doing bad stuff. So there's a little bit of confliction there,
Yeah, yeah. Well, we do know, the president's played by a black woman. That's definitely realistic. So
you could tell they made this.
But it could be interesting. Like I said, timing could be, at least for me personally, be better. I don't know. It just, it's like Civil War. When Civil War came out, it was like, this is kind of tough to watch in some ways because it somewhat feels a little too close to home.
Damn it! I want escapism. I don't want it to be relevant.
It's like right. It's like far enough away that it's not quite obviously what you might be seeing in real life. But
it could be
not that far off either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm intrigued. I will say I am intrigued. Definitely the cast alone kind of gets me like, all right. I'm sure they signed up partially for money, but hopefully also because this is like maybe a really interesting, compelling story, maybe a really relevant topical story to tell. So yeah. Okay. That's February 20th, 0 Day, Netflix, 6-episode limited series. February 23rd, we got a couple things to mention. Suits LA.
Ooh.
One of the biggest streaming shows is getting a LA-centered spinoff.
This is the one that caused all the controversy about pay, right?
I think so, because the show, was like fine when it aired, but then really, really blew up on streaming. And I think there was the issue of, the actors aren't really getting paid for the residuals, in spite of how incredibly popular it became on streaming. Like it was, because it was so after the fact from when it was airing.
Yeah.
They weren't really benefiting from its renewed popularity. So yes, I think you're right. I guess no such issue for a new show like this. If it's just as popular, we'll see. It's coming to NBC. It'll be, on network television. Stephen Amell is playing the greatest lawyer in the world. I have to say, I generally like Stephen Amell. He's done some really dumb shit, especially during the strikes. Kind of showed his ass a little bit. But I think I have a hard time buying. I could buy him as a rich playboy, Oliver Queen. Best lawyer in the world? I don't know. That's a pretty big acting stretch. So we'll see about that. We'll see about that one. But I'm sure there's definitely an audience for this. I don't know if it's me, but it is going to be out there, and maybe it'll, really.
Let me ask you this: what is your best portrayal of, like, if you had to pick best actor performance for lawyer, what do you pick? Anything come to mind? Are you thinking Keanu Reeves, Devil's Advocate kind of situation? Or are you thinking?
I don't know about Keanu.
Who was in You Can't Handle the Truth? Who was in that one?
Yeah, I was to say, Tom Cruise. You could go Tom Cruise maybe. No, even then he's a little too cavalier. Maybe not the best ideal for a lawyer.
Dude, there was a movie. I saw a trailer and I don't know what it's for. You will know. Billy Bob Thornton plays a lawyer, and this girl plays this lawyer, and there's I think I saw it on YouTube. It was a short of some sort, and I don't know what it's from.
Okay.
Billy Bob Thornton's a lawyer. This woman's a lawyer, and they're quipping back and forth, and looked like it was probably like I don't know what it was, but it looked really good. It was.
Looks like there's a TV show called Goliath, in which Billy.
I've heard that. I've heard of that before.
Lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm speculating that that's what it is. I don't know for a fact. I don't know. My Cousin Vinny, pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, it's not
No,
that's a very
that's
legally accurate. It's a legally accurate, like surprisingly legally accurate film.
that's a good
although,
one. Although,
Joe Pesci's, lawyer is a little bit. He's very out of his element, kind of by the design of that movie. I don't know. I'm really trying to think of like what's a really good lawyer, representation.
There's
Honestly,
also the Clint Eastwood movie came out really.
the juror movie.
Yeah, did you see that?
Juror number 2. No, I'd like to. Maybe I will before we record that other episode, which is to say, if I've already talked about it.
That's what we need.
Cool.
We need
whatever I said on that episode.
bonus episode 2025. Let's watch some lawyers. Let's watch some lawyer movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
and
be
then
down for that.
You know what would be cool too is if we did a car lot or salesman movies, a couple of those, and if we did some doctor movies. Those would be fun. Those would be fun bonus episodes. 1 or 2 movies, like you can compare the worst versus the best, or whatever. I don't know, but that sounds like a fun bonus episode.
Yeah, no, fair enough. My brain is going to Jack McCoy from Law and Order. I think he's like a pretty good DA depiction from what I have seen. I haven't seen all of the original Law and Order, to be fair, but he comes to mind. I was like Googling it very briefly. People are saying Better Call Saul is actually like a very good depiction of lawyering, which is interesting. You wouldn't really think of it that way from the outside looking in, but apparently it's pretty.
Haven't seen that one either.
Pretty spot on. Yeah, I haven't either. Just Breaking Bad, but anyway, Suits LA. There you go. Tangent complete. February 23rd, 1923, season 2. This is another one of them Yellowstone spinoffs.
Okay.
This is the. Let me confirm which one this is before I fully commit to talking about it. Yes, this is the Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford one. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's that one. Which the first season came out, so 1923. Obviously, it's before the events of the main Yellowstone series, but it's the Dutton family in 1923. I feel like the first season got good reviews. I'm very much not in on the Yellowstone-averse, but
seen a few of them.
And so is Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner is very much not in the Yellowstone-averse anymore. But yeah, I again throwing this out there for people that were interested in this and are kind of in on the Yellowstone stuff, getting the second season of 1923 on February 23rd. So I don't know if that helps you, but maybe it helps someone else.
I really as much as praise as Yellowstone and all its spinoffs get, I really wish that Taylor Sheridan would just go back to like writing fucking
just make like fucking tight,
awesome movies.
Not instead he just seems to write soap operas
wrong.
for men.
Yeah, and people are fucking paying. I mean, I'm sure Paramount's paying them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A dude's making bank. He gets to do this for a living. I think he just casts himself in it at this point. It's like, I mean, I get it. He's living the good life, but it feels a little bit like selling out. I just kind of coming off of Hell or High Water, Wind River, writing Sicario. Like it just kind of feels like, I don't know, man. Where did that spark go?
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm sure they're fine, but.
Right. I think it's probably totally entertaining.
Call me
totally
selfish.
Fine. But definitely doesn't seem to have the same sort of depth or complexity
or soul.
Attempted.
They just don't seem to have
soul.
You know?
For sure. And it is, to me, again, outside looking in, has now kind of gone down the Walking Dead track of how many fucking shows are there? How many fucking spinoffs are there? And it's like, I mean, obviously, I know Marvel's like that. I know Star Wars can be like that. Like, the things that I like and enjoy are definitely like that. And when you're in, and it's fine. But when you're not in, Star Trek is kind of the same thing where I'm like, I like Star Trek. I've watched a decent amount of Star Trek, but I have probably thousands upon thousands of hours of Star Trek to watch.
You'll never get in. Exactly.
No, and I would have to spend the rest of my life watching Star Trek to even be close to being in. And I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it, because there's the part of my brain that can't just like watch 1923 seasons 1 and 2 and then never watch the original Yellowstone. Like that weirds me out. Even though I'm sure it totally works on its own, it doesn't rely on it because it's set so far apart. Maybe you'd appreciate it more, but I'm sure it's totally fine on its own. But I still would be weirded out by it too much.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I'm with you.
On to March 4th. This, to me, is the big one. Daredevil Born Again will premiere on Disney+. We got an official trailer for this, which I don't think we've talked about. I think we just had like little, spots of footage from like the sizzle reel that we saw for all the kind of shows and stuff coming out on Marvel Studios front and in 2025. But now we have a full proper trailer for Daredevil Born Again, showing off the reunion of Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio as Matt Murdock, and the Kingpin Wilson Fisk, and showing off just a lot. John Bernthal's back as Frank Castle. Deborah Ann Wool's back as Karen Page. And there's some bones breaking. There's some blood being
super
spilled.
Graphic trailer, dude.
It's a pretty gnarly, Netflix-esque. Tonally, in terms of tone.
I believe in retribution.
I'm fucking pumped. Just him screaming at the end. I'm like, yeah.
Did you hear the fucking lion roar? Like the lion growl?
Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
Like, what creative person put in a fucking, hey, let's just drop a lion growl in there? Like, yeah.
I think it may be White Tiger-esque because we see a vigilante.
Is that what it is?
So I'm assuming it's in reference to that, but I don't know that for a fact. To be fair,
it'd be badass. Let's put the fucking sound of a lion in there. All right, let's do it.
It is a little goofy. I have to.
But I mean, it fits.
But it's fine. It's fine. I'm so pumped that nothing's going to stop me from being pumped.
I have to say,
I will not let anything stop me from being pumped.
I've seen this trailer twice. I watched it once tonight. And I watched it once at work on my cell phone in the bathroom.
Sure.
And both times I got goosebumps. Shit is so good. And I don't know if I had just have like a nostalgic appreciation for like Daredevil and like everything he it's almost like a Spider-Man kind of character, you know what I mean? The things that he represents and the things that he does and the things that he says, it's just all so fucking cool. Daredevil's the best.
I agree. Yeah. It's just so fucking cool.
He's so cool.
And the show just does really look like the continuation of the Netflix show that I always wanted. And then, when it was canceled, it was like, fuck, man, like you're taking away this thing that was so good.
Does this take place before or after Echo? Do we know?
I would assume after.
Okay.
But I don't. My guess is
it part of the same deal?
I think. I mean, it's the same continuity. It's all canon. But my guess is you could have watched Echo, or you could have not watched Echo, rather. And I don't think you'll be missing anything. That's kind of my guess.
Okay.
I think Echo is a little backstory and stuff if you want to have a little Daredevil fight and a little bit of Fisk background. But I think story wise, I am guessing that Echo will be largely irrelevant in terms of what the actual story is of this with the Mayor Fisk and all that stuff, which I think maybe was sort of referenced or teased in that. I can't specifically remember. But I think you can watch Daredevil Born Again and kind of get what you need out of it. Like you could probably go right into that having not watched the Netflix Daredevil stuff and probably still enjoy it. But this definitely does seem to be steeped in what the original Netflix, show was.
Definitely is.
And probably will benefit.
And listen, anybody listening that has seen the new Daredevil coming out, and this exists on top of existing Daredevil shit that is absolutely top tier comic book media, period. Television, film, comic book, whatever. It is top tier shit. So, I mean, you owe it to yourself to like dig in and watch the other couple seasons.
Yep, and it's all on Disney Plus now, so you can catch up, and I fully plan to do that. I fully plan to rewatch Daredevil Netflix series on Disney Plus.
Big commitment. You heard it here first.
I want to. Anna has only seen the first 2 seasons.
Oh, that makes it
I think
easy.
we'll also watch Defenders, which she hasn't seen, which is fine, but
and
it's basically Daredevil 2.5. We'll probably put Iron Fist on the back burner and maybe revisit it sometime down the road, Denny. But yeah, definitely watch Daredevil. You can probably give the others a miss. First season of Jessica Jones is great, but probably not super relevant to Daredevil Born Again. You could definitely watch Daredevil seasons 1 through 3 straight through, and I think hopefully roll into this, and I think really, you'll be ready. And honestly, super bingeable show. Do it. Would definitely recommend. And I'll be talking about it over the next few months. I guarantee it. So that's Daredevil Born Again. Let's move on to a couple other things in March. Let's slide on over to March 14th. Dope Thief will be coming on March 14th, Apple TV Plus. I expect you don't know a lot about this.
Dope
so I'm here to tell
Thief.
you about it.
Tell me about it.
Dope Thief. It is a crime drama TV show created by Peter Craig, who helped co-write screenplays on The Town, The Batman, and Top Gun Maverick. He's adapting a novel of the same name. It's about two Philadelphia friends who pose as DEA agents to rob a house, who face the consequences of their actions when it turns out they robbed a large narcotics operation. So it seems like it's probably a bad idea. Two leads are Brian Tyree Henry and Wagner Moura. Who was in Civil War as one of the journalists in Civil War most recently. You'd probably recognize him from that. There's also Pablo Escobar in Narcos on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's Dope Thief. What do you think? Anything there for you?
Okay. That's cool.
I like the Philly aspect of it.
I bet it's interesting. Filmed in Philadelphia. Do we know?
I don't know actually. Presumably in part, I would think.
I would hope.
I guess not necessarily. But I feel like Philly is like an easy place to film. It's not like it's gonna. I can't imagine it costs that much to film here. So, but I actually don't know. Executive produced by old man Ridley Scott, who directed, I think, at least one episode. I don't know if that hampers your enthusiasm a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, we'll see. No trailer for this yet. Maybe next time we record. But yeah, I'm curious about it. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. March 26th, also on Apple TV Plus. We did get a teaser for this, so we can talk about that. A show called The Studio, upcoming American comedy series created by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Does teaser do anything for you?
Yeah, it looks pretty funny.
So Seth Rogen's the head of a fictional movie studio and seems to
have a hard time
having a rough go of it. Seems to be kind of the thrust of it. Yeah, I mean, this seemed like stacked cast, but I think cameos perhaps too. Like Bryan Cranston seems to be absolutely ridiculous in this, which is great. Catherine O'Hara, Catherine Hahn, and then we saw like Anthony Mackie, Zoe Kravitz for sure. Charlize Theron, I think was in the trailer. So like, yeah, and I think they're just themselves, which is kind of fun. I think Seth Rogen's made enough friends with everyone in Hollywood that they'll come hang out and do 5 minutes on an episode, of his little comedy Apple TV show. So I feel like there's a lot of potential here. Like it seems like it could be really fun and really, obviously sort of just lampooning Hollywood in the right sorts of ways. So I think there's a lot of promise here. I'm curious about it myself.
Yeah.
So I can see this working pretty well. Yeah, what do you think? Any other thoughts?
Aside from it looking pretty funny, Seth Rogen's starting to look like
he's a little older.
He's getting a little older, which means that we're fucking right there with him, man. We're getting a little bit older too, because
that's crazy. Seth Rogen's really not that much older than we are. I mean, he's 10 years older than we are.
But that's not that much older.
But once upon a time, that would feel like a lifetime. Now it feels like, it's not that long.
Oh.
It's not that long.
Yeah, so, yeah, anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just that gray. Once you go gray, man, only if you're Clooney, you can pull it off because you look fantastic, but you start looking like that at like 25, and then you just don't age for another 40 years.
That's true. That is true.
The opposite track is... You go downhill quickly, and it's very, very noticeable. He doesn't look bad, but he looks older. It's true. It's true. So, but hey, that's life. That's how aging works. Even in Hollywood, some people age. Not all of them, though. Some of them take the substance.
Oh,
maybe we talked about that on last episode. I don't know.
I haven't watched
it as of recording this. Maybe I will. Maybe I have. I don't know. Depending on your listening. Ooh, timey-wimey. Very confusing perspective for everyone except for us because we're just experiencing things linearly. But anyway, that's it for March. Moving on to April. A couple undated projects. Let's start with the big one. The Last of Us Season 2 is coming to Max.
What a trailer.
We got like a little minute trailer, which is really kind of a teaser. I think it doesn't show a lot. It just basically is like, it's back, and here's a little bit of footage to get you fucking stoked. And you know what? It worked. I'm absolutely stoked for The Last of Us Season 2. Bringing in, adapting the second game, I guess, first and foremost, or at least part of the second game, presumably, because I think it's a little bit longer than the first game, so I think it's intended to be a 2-part adaptation, I think, in terms of make like a Season 2, Season 3 sort of thing. Caitlin Dever is here as a new character. Who is she? I don't know. We'll talk about it probably when we talk about this show, because I think, without a doubt, next to Daredevil, this is one of my most anticipated shows. Something else that this month of April that we'll get to as well, of course, but I think this is at least in my top 3, shall we say, of shows I think we'll absolutely be watching. And I think shows that we will almost certainly be covering. Maybe not in a super timely fashion, depending on how life goes, but definitely things that I think I want to watch when they come out week to week. Don't want to wait. I want to just consume it as fast and as early as I can.
Fully agree.
So I'm super in on The Last of Us Season 2. I would like to play the game. That's kind of my aspiration, is to play part 2 before I watch Season 2, which gives me a runway of a couple months to plow through it. I think I can do it. But I have to start soon. So I can't dawdle. I have to actually do it, commit, and play it. Probably not on the Portal. I feel like I gotta lock in. That's like an OLED sort of experience for me. I don't want distractions. So
I've been playing everything on the Portal. Portal's pretty great.
It is. It's pretty nifty little device.
Although I played this this Japanese game to slightly deviate back into the weeds.
Sure.
There's this Ghost of Tsushima. Is that what it is?
Tsushima. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you played that fucking game?
I haven't, but I would like to.
Oh, dude, what a game!
Yeah,
incredible. And I've been playing it on the thing on the Portal, and it's been fantastic. It's been totally great. I love it 100%. But I turned it on my TV.
Is it mind blowing?
It's like, holy shit! Yeah, there's compression happening to make this so good.
Right. It's not. It's definitely when you can see it in 4K on a big ass TV and probably with better. Definitely with better sound.
This is
all right.
This is supposed to be look like. Okay.
That's like it's like my college football device, because it's just like, I don't really care that much. Like, obviously it looks and plays better on TV, but it is what it is. But something like that, like something that's a little bit more cinematic coded, I'm like, I think I gotta I just gotta lock in. Don't bother me. Lights are going off. Doors closing.
Yeah,
I'm getting into game mode. Please don't bother me unless you really need to. In which case I will pause it. But yeah, The Last of Us Season 2, sometime in April it'll start. I think 8 episodes. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on it. But ballpark, I would say around there. Which I think the first season was I guess the first season was like 7 or 9. It was like kind of an odd number. So I don't know exactly what the episode order is here, but we'll find out. Also in April, we're getting another Netflix anime from the Castlevania, I think, animators, or at least the same creator as the original Castlevania anime, Adi Shankar. It's an adaptation of a different video game from Capcom, Devil May Cry. It's Dante. He's got his red coat. He's got guns and a sword, and he's quipping and fighting demons and shit. What do you think? Is this
oh yeah, I'm there for that. Yeah,
work for you?
I really like Devil May Cry. I played a couple of the games. I didn't play a whole lot. I've played more Castlevania games than I have.
Okay.
Devil May Cry, but Devil May Cry has always been a cool thing. I think I like the thing more than I like the gameplay of the thing. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's one of those. It's one of those games that it's almost like a. God damn it! I can't think of the name. Dynasty Warriors kind of situation where you just like whack things a bunch and it just adds up number after number. And,
right. It's sort of beat 'em up type thing, 3D space, but I don't know what the shoot 'em up. I guess I don't know. Even that's not quite right, because I think that actually refers to something. But yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know what the right descriptor is, but
Anyways, I've never been a huge fan of those types of games, but the concept's always cool. So I think this might be a really cool way for me to experience Devil May Cry in a format that I do thoroughly enjoy. So I'm here for it.
Yeah. I think this is the type of thing, too, that like totally works for this Netflix anime style.
Yeah, for sure.
The right sort of tone, the right kind of property to really work for this format. So I think there's definitely a lot of potential. The teaser showed off, like I feel like the action and stuff looked pretty neat, and that's definitely been a high point. I think of the Castlevania stuff is like they had really good writing, probably better writing than some of the video games, or at least more writing than I guess some of those Castlevania games had, which is generally pretty minimal, like Kill Dracula or whatever. But yeah, I think this definitely has a lot of potential. I could see it being pretty fun, like very fun. Sort of a little anime deal. So yeah. All right. Well, I'm just gonna get it out of the way. I can't remember if this is one that you had watched any of. I can't remember. You on Netflix. Is this anything you've watched at any point in your life?
Oh yeah, we've seen like 2 or 3 seasons of You.
I was thinking you would watch.
That's the creeper. That's the creeper guy, right?
It's the creeper guy. Yeah. So the 5th and final season's coming to Netflix on April 24th.
Okay.
Wanted to throw it out there in case you're, maybe looking to go back and catch up so you can watch the whole complete series. Not really on my radar, but people like the show and good for them. That's cool. I'm never going to watch everything anyway, so it's okay for me to. It's easy enough to just eliminate stuff that I know is not really going to be.
It gets kind of lolly.
It's not even to say that I like wouldn't enjoy it, that I would hate it. Like I might find entertainment value out of it, but there's just so many other things that I'm putting above it that it's necessarily kind of coming down further on the list of things that I'll get.
I don't think you'll ever watch it. I mean, it's totally okay. Some of it's better than others, you know what I mean? But it gets kind of samey. And it's if you're in, you're in. You know what I mean? Like if there's only 2 more seasons I need to watch to finish out an entire thing, I'll probably watch the 2 to say I've completed the thing. You know what I mean? But otherwise, I probably wouldn't have.
All right. Well, I think the thing I alluded to just a few minutes ago, the other one I think I'm very excited for, and if I were a betting man, I'd say you're pretty excited for as well. It's the 2nd season of Andor.
Whoa!
The 2nd and final season of Andor. The will bridge the events of season 1 into the events of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. In
which case we get to rewatch a Star Wars story.
We could do that, absolutely, certainly. I mean, it's never a bad time to do that, but we didn't need an excuse to, but we'll take one. Andor season 2, another 12 episodes, it's really kind of more of the same in the sense of everyone's back. I think they pretty much rolled right into making this after season 1, which was top tier Star Wars content. I was a little late to the party. I don't intend to be with this one. I definitely intend to be watching this as it airs. But it will be back, and we just have to hope that it's just as good as that first season. And I think again, we have every reason to think it will be. It's the same people making it. There's no big change in the production of it. It's just more the continued story. And it's obviously just going to be about whether the writing and the storylines will be as compelling and as interesting. But when you have the same creatives involved, when they knew that this was going to be a 2-season deal, it's not like oh shit, the first one was really good. Fuck, we got to make more. I got to make shit up. And then True Detective season 2 happens. It's not that at all. So I think that I have every expectation this will be just as good as season 2. And obviously as we get closer to Rogue One territory, we're getting closer and closer to the original trilogy events and stuff like that. So it'll be really, really cool to see that kind of space fleshed out more, the involvement of the Rebel Alliance and everything, more specifically, maybe how he meets a K2SO and all that stuff. So I'm fucking pumped. So again, I would expect that you are, but
no, absolutely. I can't think of a show that I'd probably enjoy watching another time more.
Do you think you will go back and watch season 1?
I think I will. Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I think I could benefit from that. I've only seen it just the once, but
I've only seen it the once as well. The arc is.
And we could really watch it in like 4 things. Just give it a 3 episode sort of thing, and
absolutely
you're there.
But I mean, aside from the structure, I think the structure of the show lends itself well to a rewatching. But aside from that, the content is just top tier shit. It is written so good. And you want to talk about something that feels like rewarding and kind of escapism by being in, then at the same time kind of being like fucking, I don't know, just seems kind of topical too. It just seems good. Just seems like it's just a good fucking show, dude. It's so good.
It is. Anyone that didn't watch Andor or that was late like me, it really is perhaps the best thing we've gotten from the Disney era of Star Wars, period. I mean,
oh yeah,
some of the stuff has been very divisive, obviously.
This is Empire Strikes Back on television. I
haven't run into anyone who was like, Andor sucked, because it's just not a valid viewpoint. Like, you might think that, the hype is hyperbole. Like, oh, it was good, but it wasn't amazing. Like, I could see someone throwing that out there. They'd be wrong, and I would fight them. But I think that like that's almost kind of like the harshest, critique that people have been able to throw out. It's like, it's overrated. It's like, yeah, but it's not bad. Like, you're not saying that it's bad. So
you just didn't enjoy it as much as others, right?
Right, which again would be fair, but also is incredible and it's top tier Star Wars stuff. So, and it is worth the hype. It is deserving of the praise. And like you said, we have to believe and expect. I mean, maybe that's something that could, come back and bite us in the asses. I think our expectations for season 1 were not obviously.
No, they were
probably
tempered,
huge,
right.
Because it's like, all right, an Andor show.
And I actually think who was on that first? I think Enrique may have been on that first.
Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure.
I think he was. But yeah, man, what an incredible property! Like, it's incredible show. It's nuts. So yeah, when is that out again?
It will start April 22nd. I don't know exactly what the release plan is. It's 12 episodes. Okay. I assume it'll be mostly weekly, but I know the first season, I think, dropped 3 at once. But I don't know if they're planning on doing anything similar to that, like dropping it in pods or anything like that. Because it does appear to be the same sort of deal where it's 3 episode arcs based on the writers. Like episodes 1 through 3 are one writer, 4 through 6 are a different writer, and so on and so forth for the.
Yeah,
for the
I think that's pretty cool. If you're not going to put everything into one, I think having 3 separate, distinct arcs between writers is a good way to structure your stuff. I like it.
So yeah, that's Andor season 2. Like I said, starting April 22nd, we'll run almost certainly through probably June, maybe June until July-ish, something like that. So we'll be getting some Star Wars goodness for a couple months, middle of the year, which should be just fine. Just with the Doctor Order. All right, so these next 4 I'm going to kind of bundle together because we have talked about them already.
Okay.
These were shows that were talked about on the Marvel Studios look ahead. June 24th, we're getting Ironheart. August 6th, we're getting Eyes of Wakanda. In October, no specific date, we're getting Marvel Zombies. And December, we're getting Wonder Man. All of these coming to Disney+. These are all Marvel shows. Ironheart and Wonder Man are live action. Eyes of Wakanda, Marvel Zombies are both animated. Yeah, of those 4 shows, are you looking forward to them? What are you looking forward to most? Maybe, yeah. Any specific
Ironheart? Yeah, Ironheart sounds cool.
Right, the character that we saw in Wakanda Forever, getting her own show, new suit. She's maybe going off against the Hood.
That's an interesting character. But I think the Wakanda show's probably got me most intrigued. Yeah,
it's kind of like a look at the history of Wakanda, traveling through maybe different periods of time in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Different episodes showing off different periods of time. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of plot device to that effect, but animation style I think looked really nice and almost like depicting Wakanda both live action and animated is a cheat code because it's just kind of like a really lush, gorgeous design, to start with. So,
Yeah, right. And I think the history of Wakanda, the history of Wakanda is, I think it's an interesting one with multiple different Black Panthers and that sort of thing.
Totally. Really cool.
I think it's
very cool
it's
lore
cool.
there. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's probably the one I'm most excited about.
Okay. Yeah, I think that one to me has the most potential. I think what I'm most curious about is Wonder Man. It really feels like an unknown thing.
That is true.
I'm excited to see Yahya Abdul-Mateen second in the MCU. I'm excited to see Sir Ben Kingsley back as Travis Slattery. So, like that one, I'm like, what is this? What are they doing here? Like, are they just doing like a fun little side thing? Or like what? I'm very curious about Wonder Man. So,
did you finish What If?
That would require starting What If. So no.
Ooh.
No, I have not. But it's on the list. It's on the list of things I want to watch.
Fair enough.
We'll talk about it at some point. Maybe an episode if we can make it happen.
To be fair, I haven't finished it. So
yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Because that was, I guess, that was technically 2024 stuff. So I don't know. Maybe you'll have finished it in time for the episodes that have already come out to our regular listeners. I don't know.
We'll see.
Some time travel involved, but make it happen. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, those are the dated ones. Let's talk some undated TV shows. We've got a handful here. I think we'll try to go through these somewhat quickly, depending on what they are. But this is kind of sort of, I think, where I bundled it more or less by streaming service. So over on Hulu, 4 shows to mention. Season 6, the final season of The Handmaid's Tale.
Holy shit.
I haven't watched any of this.
I didn't realize that it wasn't done yet.
No, still got one more coming, and then they're going to do a spinoff because there's another book that I think the author wrote, and so I think they're doing another series. I hear it's very good. I mean, I think there's a couple seasons that maybe the reviews weren't as good for it, but it's supposed to be a very, very compelling show. I know you watched at least some of the early seasons.
How many seasons are there now?
There will be 6. There will be a 6th coming in this year.
Feels like it's been forever.
I have to say, not in a rush to watch this show. That's definitely not on my feel-good list of things to watch.
No, it's good. It's good stuff. It is good stuff. Make sure it's pretty harrowing.
It's good.
Though.
I'm sure it's. I think it's probably just a little too harrowing thing to be watching. I don't
feel fucking depressed and angry about everything.
Yeah. That's not really anything that's really on my list of things to get around to this year. But I think certainly for those who are invested, I'm sure it'll be worth the payoff. Maybe there will be comeuppance. Maybe there will be an end that is not just hopeless and depressing and all that. Maybe
but
I don't know.
This is one of those shows that maybe this is a show that lets people grow. Maybe this is a show you can recommend. Maybe hey, why don't you watch The Handmaid's Tale, man? It's real good.
Yeah, maybe espousing these certain values and enforcing them on people in society, and this is the consequence. Maybe it's not such a good thing. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, at least
maybe that's the lesson to be learned.
Maybe we can look and explore a particular.
Like, is this really what you want? Is this actually what you want? Or is this, is this something you can get behind and not, be vocal about? And
absolutely,
it's not necessarily that you want, but are you okay with this?
Maybe it's not like a nice way, but maybe it's a non-combative way of exploring different ways of thinking. You know what I mean? Through art, and I think that's
possible. Yeah, that's fair.
So,
fair enough.
Anyways.
Either way. Season 6, coming in the spring to Hulu. Coming in the summer to Hulu is Alien Earth.
Which we still don't know anything about. Yeah.
No, we still haven't gotten a real trailer. We just got like a little look, it's got an alien in it. Like, an alien TV show has an alien in it? Oh my goodness, who could have seen this coming? It is being written and directed by Noah Hawley of Legion fame, which is obviously very, very, very exciting. I think, an Earthbound alien show isn't the most exciting sort of thing for me, but a Noah Hawley alien show with Timothy Olyphant in it does get me pretty jazzed, I will say.
True.
So I think
on FX
this could be pretty cool.
Networks,
on
right?
FX, on Hulu, yep, for sure. I think that this could be pretty cool. Could be very cool. But we've kind of seen jack shit from it, so it's hard to really super gauge it. So definitely something we'll revisit, I think, as we get marketing materials really truly rolling in. But definitely potential here on the radar, but can't really get excited for it without seeing or knowing more, right? I think so. So that's where I'm at with that. Sounds like maybe we're on the same page.
Same page.
All right. What about Fall on Hulu? Chad Powers got a little 15-second deal. It's Glenn Powell.
I got a big deal. There's a big deal happening.
He's a big deal happening. He's gonna change his face so that he can be a quarterback for a different team or something like that. Apparently, it's based off of something that Eli Manning did for something. I
remember that. I think.
Yeah,
where he put like prosthetics on and then played and like became a walk-on.
Right. Exactly. I think that's kind of the deal. And so. Which is it's pretty funny. I mean, it's so I think Glenn Powell is kind of like a creative force on this. Co-created it, co-wrote it with Michael Waldron. Basically a character who does some dumb shit and puts on some prosthetics and makeup and disguises himself so he can go play football. Under this made up character, which is kind of fun. I think there's a lot of comedic potential there. Glenn Powell is a very handsome, charming man. He just likes doing prosthetic work and changing his appearance within his roles. Apparently, couldn't get enough of it on Hitman. Decided to make a whole show out of it. So,
did you ever watch that?
No, but maybe I did. Maybe I did as of last episode or two. Who's to say? I don't know. I do want to watch it. I feel like I would enjoy it, but I haven't. Fell by the wayside. So that's Chad Powers. Finally on Hulu, FX on Hulu. We're getting season 4 of The Bear, show that gets a lot of awards.
I haven't seen any of it.
Really, really want to watch it. I have watched 0 minutes of it. Well, probably not true. I watched like 30 seconds of it, of the clips that they show on the awards shows, but that's about it. So on the radar, would like to watch it. We'll see if it happens this year. I think I've said it for the past few years. This is the year we get into The Bear. Hasn't happened yet, so we'll see. Over on Starz, just one entry in the fall, we're getting Spartacus, House of Asher, another Spartacus show. It's like a little Spartacus what if sort of show, because it's basically, I think, retconning events that were played out in that original series to give us like an alternate version of history with Asher in charge of I think the gladiators in the Colosseum, which is fun, kind of interesting. I think Steven S. DeKnight, the original showrunner, is doing this as well. So it's kind of like bringing the band back together sort of thing. Obviously, it's not the full band. Andy Whitfield's obviously no longer with us. Rest in peace. So there's no chance of, I think, a Spartacus being with. I don't think they're going to bring Liam McIntyre back, who's the recast version. I think it's probably steering clear of the full Spartacus side of things. I don't know if Crixus or anything like that is going to be in it. But the Spartacus show was
pretty good.
A hell of a lot of fun at a bare minimum. And once it kind of figured out what it was really fucking good. So this could be really fun. I'm definitely curious about it. I would probably also need to go back and finish the original Spartacus show, because I think I didn't watch the final season maybe. But I don't know. Yeah. Could definitely see this being fun. Peacock, Poker Face, Season 2, Natasha Lyonne. She's Columboing about solving cases and stuff like that. Enjoyed the first half of Season 1 and then stopped watching it. But I think that it's a lot of potential here. It's a Ryan Johnson, I think, created thing. I don't know if he's writing or directing anything for Season 2, but I think he's still probably heavily involved creatively. So there's that for people interested in that. I'm just running down the list now. Stop me if you've got things to say. Just making it clear. Dexter Resurrection, Paramount Plus with Showtime.
Ooh, that should be a...
Michael C. Hall's back. I was into Dexter in the early days. Yes. I think I watched through season 4 or 5. And I think it went for 7 or 8 total. And then they already kind of did a Dexter sequel series.
Yeah,
apparently the original Dexter show had like the dumbest fucking ending in the world. So they came back and did another like series, which they were like, no, this is the real ending. And I think people were like, it's still pretty fucking stupid, actually, as I recall. And then this year, or I don't know, I guess maybe 2024 technically, there's a Dexter prequel airing with like a younger version of all these characters.
Jesus Christ.
And then now this year we're getting Dexter Resurrection, which is another sequel series. Like, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like Dexter feels like it's like it. I don't know. It feels like a show that came out 15 years ago because it did, but it just feels like they're not ready to let go of it. But maybe they should.
Hey, why don't we just do another Dexter season? Yeah,
I don't know.
Good idea.
It just kind of feels like, I don't know. Does anyone still care? Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously there are plenty of shows that start, like Game of Thrones is probably a good example of like, they keep going back to it. I'm not sure that people care that much anymore, but they keep going back to it. I think at least Game of Thrones probably had a bigger audience by the time it ended than Dexter did. So it's maybe not the best comparison, but still kind of just like, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty wild,
I guess. So I don't really care, but someone might. And so therefore it's in here. Certainly interesting that they are doing another sequel series to this fucking show. It's like, just make
something else. Can we not make something else?
I don't know. Just remake it at this point. It's just a matter of time anyway. Season 2 of Gen V. We're moving over to Prime Video. Season 2 of Gen V. This is the Boys spinoff.
Okay.
Didn't watch season 1. I don't think you did either.
No.
But I think some of the characters appeared on the most recent season of The Boys, which I think you may have watched.
I did.
Maybe came up in our last episodes. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know what happened in the future / past. But yeah, more Gen V for those that are itching for more of The Boys stuff and just can't get enough of it and need the spinoff. I heard season 1 was good. I'd like to watch it. We'll see. We'll see when I get around to it.
So much shit to watch,
So much shit to watch. We're not even there. We've got 3 more pages of no. I'm just kidding. But we do have movies to talk about. We'll get there shortly. Blade Runner 2099.
Ooh, what is this? Tell me more about this.
Maybe this intrigues you. Well, it's Blade Runner, but 2099, which is to say it's 50 years after 2049. Michelle Yeoh plays a replicant in it. Hunter Schafer's in it as well. It's just a TV show. Mini-series for Prime Video, kind of serving as a sequel to both the original Blade Runner and 2049.
Okay.
I think Ridley is producing. Not sure how super involved he was in the show, but show wrapped up filming last month, December. So no clear expectation that this will definitely be 2025. It'll probably be late 2025 if it does make it, but I threw it in here because hey,
I like Blade Runner. I like
Blade Runner. Make it, so I like Blade Runner, and I like Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah,
I think that alone kind of gets me there. Intrigued. I mean, for a streaming show, you know what I mean. So
easy enough to dip your toes in the water there,
without a doubt. Yes, definitely.
So yeah, I'm there for that one.
All right, Netflix. We've got, I'm sure there'll be a whole slew of original content coming, but in terms of the notable returning shows, let's say Stranger Things 5, the final season of Stranger Things is coming. It's going to be a bunch of fucking movies based on how much they shot and how that last season was. But I've been with Stranger Things the whole way.
Got to finish it out.
I think it's been consistently pretty good, except for that one fucking shit episode where they were in Chicago or whatever, and it was real bad. It was real bad. But other than that, it's been really good. And I think the last season was really, really good too. So I'm really excited to see how these 30-year-old fucks, wrap up their middle school life. And maybe they're in high school now. I can't remember.
That's pretty fun though, right? Being that we get to see these people grow like that, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
unique experience.
Just looking at these kids from season 1 to season 5, like that's a grown man. He's 7 feet tall now. I think Duffer Brothers. I have faith in. I think we're gonna get fucking basically cinematic film quality shit, just super high budgeted, balls to the wall Stranger Things stuff, and I'm here for it. Really,
episode
really
after episode, right?
For sure. Like each episode's going to be fucking an hour and a half. It's going to be ridiculous. We're going to have to cover it in 2 parts because we're not going to be able to watch it in time, unless we want to cover it in 3 years, but we'll see. No release date on that yet. As with all these, no release date on that. Season 7 of Black Mirror. We're getting more Black Mirror.
Oh, excellent. I love it.
I think we're getting like a follow-up episode to the Star Trek one, the not real, not USS Callisto or whatever.
Listen, if anybody needs a better time to watch Black Mirror, it's after Chat GPT and it's after all the fucking shit that's been.
Sure,
as technology progresses in general.
Callister, USS Callister, not Callisto.
It's a good time to watch that.
Gotcha. Actors confirmed to be in season 7: Awkwafina, Issa Rae, Paul Giamatti, Billy Magnuson, and Tracy Ellis Ross. Just some names. I'm sure there will be more recognizable names in season 7. So, on Netflix as well, Squid Game 3. Squid Game 2 just came out. Yes, that's true, but apparently Squid Game 3 is also 2025.
I've been told I need to watch Squid Game. Apparently Squid Game is good shit.
Apparently it's pretty good. But haven't watched any of it. But lots of Squid Game happening apparently. So Squid Game 3, 2025 apparently. And then last on Netflix, season 2 of Wednesday. The Addams Family, Tim Burton thing, Jenna Ortega. All right. People dug that first season. I never watched it. She dances in the one thing or whatever, and people are like, "Oh, it's so cool." There you go. That's Netflix for you. Like I said, lots of other shit on there, almost certainly. Some of it bad, some of it good. The Netflix way. You'll pay $400 for it a year, and you'll like it. God damn it!
You better watch your shit on Netflix. That's what I got to say.
Yes, you better be watching daily to get your money's worth. That's for sure. Over on Max, I think 4 shows to really highlight. 5 shows to highlight. I take it back. First one is Task. This is a Mark Ruffalo, the Buffalo-led show with. He's like an FBI guy or something like that.
He looks like a little bit older, out of shape. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm there for it.
He's like, you really shouldn't be putting me out in the field. Like this is a bad idea. He's an FBI agent. Oh, it's another Philadelphia-based one.
Of course.
Philadelphia suburb leads a task force in a Philadelphia suburb to put an end to a string of drug house robberies. I think this is maybe the. Let me fact check things here. I want to say it's the Mayor of Easttown.
Showrunner?
Showrunner, maybe. Perhaps.
Mayor of Easttown was incredible. What year did that come out in? Is it 2 years ago, or is that 24?
That was 2020, 2021. 2021. Damn. When that came out. Mayor of Easttown. And yes, can confirm Task was created and written by Brad Inglesby, who wrote and produced Mayor of Easttown. So it's kind of a Mayor of Easttown sort of deal, which makes sense. Similar setting for sure, but yeah, Mark Ruffalo in the lead. I'm here for that it. Kind of alone. Kind of. I'm down for that. So. We'll see when it obviously makes its way. It's technically an HBO show, crime drama and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Task. Season 4 of Hacks is coming to Max. Supposed to be a very, very good comedy show.
Hacks is coming to Max?
Hacks is coming to Max. Oh. Hacks is already on Max. Hacks is already on Max. If you want to watch the first 3 seasons. The 3 seasons have come and gone, and then we're getting a 4th season sometime in 2025. Okay. Lots of awards. Gene Smart and Hannah Einbinder are the kind of 2 leads in this, and very much on my list of I really would like to watch this show and probably would really like it, but time, work, college football 25, all the things that get in the way, all the things. Welcome to Derry, a little It.
Yeah, what's up with that?
TV shows is happening. I think maybe a prequel to the It. Like I think it's intended to be connected to the It movies, which is it's a prequel to the films It and It Chapter 2.
Okay.
Bill Skarsgård's back as Pennywise. Spoilers.
Okay.
Just like a little thing. It's supposed to be a 3-season deal. First season set in 1962, the second in 1935, and the third in 1908. So they're going to go backwards, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of fun. Kind of like that. We got a little slice of footage in the, coming to Max in 2025, little sizzle reel, but, maybe enough to get a little bit of a visual style, but not a whole lot to go off of otherwise. But
creepy smiley
show
people.
could work.
Yeah,
creepy smiley people, some blood on people and stuff, so bad things happening and such. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. This is a Game of Thrones spinoff based off of the Dunk and Egg stories.
Who was Dunk and Egg? Do you know anything about Dunk and Egg?
The novellas. Sort of, yeah. So I think this is 90 years before the events of the mainline novels, which is to say that I guess it's I don't know where to place that relative to House of the Dragon.
Before it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, probably a bit before it. I forget the specific timeline for House of the Dragon. I'm trying to remember where it takes place. So it begins nearly no. So it's after House of the Dragon, 172 years before the birth of Daenerys Targaryen. So this is between House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, the show.
Oh, okay.
That sort of it's in that kind of middle span. So presumably after whatever shenanigans ensue in the dance of the dragons, the Civil War and everything that happens, the Targaryen Civil War. Once that all resolves and theoretically a new king or queen is crowned, there's some stability in the realm for a little bit before the Baratheons come and wreck shit. So Tales of Dunk and Egg. It's a series of novellas that George R.R. Martin wrote about a character named Dunk, who I think he's a knight, and an Egg, who is like a child that he is, I guess, sworn to protect. I think there's more relevance to who these characters are, but I don't know if that's a spoiler, so I'm not going to just openly say it.
Okay, fair enough.
So I don't know if that's a thing that is supposed to be known about them. It's in the Wikipedia summary, but I'm not going to repeat it here because again, I don't know if that's supposed to be hidden or not. I haven't read it, so I actually don't know. So I can't speak to that. But either way, little slice of footage here again for this as well.
Was that Dunk and Egg swinging a sword, or was that Syrio Florel? Probably wasn't Syrio Florel because then he'd be really old.
No, I think that was Dunk because Egg's a little child.
Dunk's
a large, imposing man, I think, or at least a very tall man. Let's put it that way. Sir Duncan the Tall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then lastly, Peacemaker Season 2 for Max. Almost done here, though. Peacemaker Season 2 is coming. Peacemaker Season 1 is apparently basically DC canon, except for like a little scene that involves the Justice League, apparently, but we're getting more John Cena back as
good for
Peacemaker.
Him.
Good for him. James Gunn, I think, is heavily involved in this as well. He's definitely a big fan. Heavily involved in the Peacemaker series. I only watched the one episode of the first season, but I thought it was pretty James Gunny, pretty zany and stuff, but pretty good. But yeah, we're getting another season of it. So
okay.
If you're trying to follow along with all the DC stuff, like you're going to be getting, we got Creature Commandos started last year, ended this year. You'll get Peacemaker Season 2 on the TV side of things. And then you've got Superman, which we'll talk about later. So yeah, so there you go. That's what you got on Max. Final 2 shows on Disney Plus. Season 2 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the TV adaptation of it. I don't know if you're maybe a little bit more interested in watching the show now that you've read at least or listened to one of the books. But we'll be getting a second season of that.
I have a feeling that show introduces the possibility of a lot of really annoying fucking kids.
It toes the line probably of
because you better nail casting because if not,
totally. And I think that because they did the movies of the first 2 books, I think, and it's like they cast people who are definitely too old to be children. I think they did a better job here of casting people who are probably still older than the book characters actually are, but are young enough to be like, yeah, okay, fine. But I agree. Definitely, kids can be fucking annoying.
And I feel like they're almost slightly annoying in the book, like the way that
they're definitely Percy's definitely like borderline annoying in the book because he's like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, by design, it's like, well, he's a 12-year-old. Like, what do you expect? Or however old he's supposed to be. So I definitely think that there's potential there for it to be annoying. But I feel like the first season was like pretty generally well received.
I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it. I think the general idea is each book is intended to be translated to a season. I think there's 5 books in the main Percy Jackson series. There's other books in which I think Percy is present, but it's not like about him necessarily. So I don't know if they're necessarily going to adapt those, but theoretically a 5-season arc is kind of what they're
after here,
I guess, planned. But at least season 2 is coming, adapting the second book. I think they cast. I think in this first season, Lance Reddick played Zeus, which is pretty cool
that is
casting.
pretty cool.
Obviously,
that's a problem.
Not possible for season 2,
yeah.
And I believe that they recast Zeus. I'm trying to figure out. I feel like I saw the recast. I don't think we would have talked about it, but I recall it being like, oh, that's pretty good, actually. I think that could work pretty well. Courtney B. Vance is going to be Zeus in the second season, so different presence than Lance Reddick, but great actor. So I'm curious to see that. So that's Percy Jackson, and then last but not least, certainly not least, we're getting Volume 3 of Star Wars Visions coming in 2025. More Visions.
Aside from Andor, I feel like this is the best Star Wars stuff to be coming out of Star Wars. Honestly,
yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Might be right. This is going to feature animation from studios in countries like Japan, India, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Spain, Chile, France, South Africa, South Korea, and the United States of America. So we're getting 9 different anime studios participating. Some returning, 5 new studios that haven't worked on anything with Star Wars Visions before. But it's not like, I think the first volume was exclusively Japanese studios. Second volume rather was not. This one is kind of a mix of studios. So we can expect 9 episodes of Star Wars Visions to be part of Volume 3. So very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. I think. So that's TV. We have a good slate of TV things to look forward to in 2025. Do you think?
I think TV sounds pretty interesting. I think there's a shit ton of content coming out.
For sure.
But I have to say that I'm here for it.
Okay.
I'm here for quite a few. I think the few that we have coming out that I'm definitely going to catch, at like Andor, Last of Us, Star Wars Visions. I think that the 24 ER kind of deal is going to be really good too. I think we're going to have a select few of very top, like every year. There's going to be a handful of top tier television.
There's going to be some things that rise to the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Cream rises to the top, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, good year. It's going to be a good year for stuff.
All right, I think so too. I think we've got a lot of really good, interesting things to look forward to, and yeah, definitely some heavy hitters that I'm really, really stoked for. Daredevil, Last of Us, and Andor, kind of those top 3 to name them again. But there might be some other surprises along the way, and that's kind of the beauty of things too. There's things we don't know about yet. We don't have trailers for that we don't even know to be excited for yet, and so there's always going to be more. So that's TV in 2025. How about film, you might ask? Well, I've got you covered. I have got you covered. Let's talk films in 2025. Again, this is kind of going to be the same thing. We're a little front-loaded early part of the year, and then it'll kind of whittle down to just a few entries here and there as we start to get past the peak summer months, I think, for sure. So we're going to start in January because that's usually how you start a year. We're going to start January 2025. We'll fly through some of these because I think there's maybe not a whole lot to say on these. January 10th brought us Better Man, the Robbie Williams He's a Monkey movie. Did you see a trailer for that?
Oh,
I feel like I saw it in front of a ton of like movies in the theater, but I
did see that. I remember thinking, what the fuck is this?
It totally bombed. It's so fascinating.
I wonder why.
Robbie Williams is like super, super popular everywhere except for America. No one in America knows who the fuck this guy is. Like, so it's like it almost feels like they made this movie because, well, if he's a monkey, people will just think he's a fictional person and it's fine. absolutely bonkers, bizarre, batshit choice for what the hell to do with like a biopic. I respect it at the same time, and apparently it's not a bad movie, but I mean,
Well, like, why?
What in what world was that not going to bomb? Is kind of how I feel about.
How'd that get made?
So, anyway, great question, because like that can't be cheap to fucking do a CG monkey man the entire movie.
Incredible.
Anyway, absolutely incredible, completely insane, batshit, but they did it. 17th January, we talked about the trailer, I think, relatively recently, September 5. Like the journalistic perspective on the Munich.
Yeah. Looks pretty intense.
Israeli-Palestinian conflict, attacks. And I think it's very much on the attacks, not so much the response, which I think, as we sort of talked about, I think Spielberg sort of covered in Munich, was the Israeli response to everything that went down at the Munich Olympics. So yeah, September 5 looks intense, really, really good. I think definitely on my list of things to watch, which is to say it's like sort of a 2024 movie technically, so it might get lumped into our coverage. If I have seen it, I might have already talked about it. So again, sorry for the weird time loop shenanigans, but that's what happens when we do things when it makes sense to record things. So January 17th. I think this is one that, was also on January 17th, I should say. One that maybe was sort of on our radar, has come out. Wolfman has come out. This was
fuck, I didn't know that came out either.
Yeah, it just came out. It's only been out for less than a week, so no shame.
Okay.
Directed by Lee Winnell, who recently did the Invisible Man movies, who's kind of going through like his modern takes on the classic Universal Monsters movies. The reviews are not great on this one, which I think is a little disappointing. And maybe
I didn't think they would be. Like, you could have gone both
dissuading
ways.
me.
Yeah.
I never thought this looked good. It never seemed to quite have the same sort of like, oh, this is a really interesting take on it, the way that the Invisible Man did. Like, the Invisible Man with technology just feels like, oh, that's really clever and like kind of a cool way of handling that. It could totally work. This one was kind of just like
more of the same.
What if a wolf man was a wolf man, but he had a family? It's like, all right, I mean, I think he had a family in the other one too, but it's a little bit different, I guess. I don't know. It never really kind of seemed to have the same sort of grab to it, but I kind of had faith in Lee Winnell to give us like something interesting. And maybe it is, maybe it's just not totally successful in what it's trying to achieve, but I don't know. I mean, once upon a time, I would have thought I would catch this and maybe we'd cover it. And now I'm kind of just like, I don't know. Will we? Are you seeing this in a theater? Am I seeing this in a theater? I don't know. Are there other things that maybe we would spend our time better served spending our time watching? I don't know. So we'll see. Maybe I'll loop back around to it if nothing else, comes streaming or something. But I don't know.
I'd like to watch it for sure.
I am interested. I think I would. I'm curious enough to give it a go. I think whether we cover it is obviously a separate inquiry. So I don't know. But moving on, unless you have other things to say.
No.
Sorry, I'm just trying to keep things moving. January 24th, movie that I didn't know anything about, but just doing research for this episode, popped up. The Colors Within, it's a Japanese animated film. Oh
yeah, that looks really good.
Technically came out in Japan in 2024, so it's a Your Name sort of situation of coming out in America the following year. I don't know if it has quite the same potential for the level of impact they could have, but it looks very colorful and very interestingly animated, and maybe not as epic or sweeping in terms of like the scope of what it's going for as a Your Name, but definitely looks very heartfelt. Yeah,
for sure.
So I think there's a lot of potential here. So I included it on here because I was just like, oh man, sometimes it's just a little Japanese animated thing. It's a cheat code for both of us. So,
and the art in this looks really nice.
Yeah, really, really, really pops. Really nice visual style to it. I'm curious about this. I mean, probably a similar principle of, okay, are either of us seeing this in a theater? I mean, I would. Will I? I don't know.
Yeah, depends on.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but I would like to watch it. I definitely would like to watch it.
At the very least, absolutely.
So it definitely is on my radar. All right, double dose of things that I probably will give a miss on the 24th, but I'll shout them out because I got to talk at least about this first one, Flight Risk. Tell me you've seen TV spots.
Fuck yeah, dude. Marky Mark with the fucking balding deal. Oh, I am here for this movie.
Okay.
Oh, dude. I can't think of a movie it's kind of misplaced. It belongs as like in summer blockbuster kind of.
I disagree. I think it belongs either on. I think it's perfectly placed as a January release date or on Netflix. Or on Netflix is where this
Netflix
belongs.
wouldn't be bad either. I am here for this shit. I think it's going to be entertaining as fuck. I think it's going to be awesome. I think his hair is ridiculous.
Oh, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Let me fly you to this place, and then he's like losing his mind in the back of the plane. I think it looks outstanding. Definitely here for it.
I think this looks like dog shit. I think it will be dog shit. And wouldn't you know it? It's directed by Mel Gibson. He's still allowed to make things. He's still allowed to make things. Isn't that crazy? He's still allowed to do things.
Oh, wow. I didn't think he was doing anything ever again.
Well, now he's an ambassador to Hollywood now. He's going to save Hollywood.
Ambassador to Hollywood?
From the elites alongside John Voight and Sylvester Stallone. He's a special envoy. Sorry, not ambassador to Hollywood. He's gonna free Hollywood from the wokeness. Which is to say, it's okay to be racist. It's okay to say anti-Semitic things because that's Mel Gibson. That's what he does. So
okay.
It's cool. It's cool, man. It's totally cool. He's back in these days. So I don't know. Looks like shit. It looks fucking absolutely ridiculous. Topher Grace, what are you doing? We thought you were cool, but here you are. So anyway,
fucking Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
I don't know. I have to watch it. It looks.
I'll let you take the plunge. And you tell me how it is. That's how I feel about it.
I'd like to watch it streaming, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, don't see this in a theater, please, for the love of everything holy. Like, if you're gonna go spend money in a theater because you don't have A-list, surely there are other things that would be worth your money and time. I'm not going to begrudge you, like a total Netflix movie, but seeing this at theater, no. Even with A-list.
Seeing Marky Mark with his long unhinged hair, I just, oh man.
No, I'm good. 24th of January, we're getting Star Trek Section 31, which is a television film, Star Trek, starring Michelle Yeoh, which is a spinoff of Star Trek Discovery. I almost said Star Wars. People would have been really mad at me. I don't give a flying fuck about this. It's kind of interesting. But as I've already done the Star Trek thing in this episode, my feelings are known of if I can't be fucked to watch 900 hours of Star Trek, the TV show, like, I don't know, man, I don't have it in me to really care about a spinoff to one of those shows. But
right.
For those who care, there it is, so, January 31st, we got a couple things. Companion is coming out. We got a trailer for this. Jack Quaid's in it. Sophie Thatcher's in it. It's like what if it's a little maybe a little M3gan-esque, but not totally super M3gan. What if a sex robot became a little bit more, seems to be kind of the... Is
this the Megan Fox one? Have you seen the Megan Fox one?
It is not. I think you talked about it on maybe the Nosferatu episode. It is not. This is a different thing. Okay. But maybe thematically similar concept, perhaps. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, it could be something. Seems like there's like a little, like this is like a kind of a genre of itself. Of what if pretty AI lady, well, I guess M3, and not really, it's just a fucking weird killer child robot. I take that back for that particular movie. But I guess Subservience, was that the Megan Fox one?
The Megan Fox one.
Yeah, I think maybe that's kind of like, it's like a subgenre of like what they're doing with this is, taking things in that direction. I don't know. It seems sort of interesting. I don't know if you had any thoughts on it, but there's that.
We'll see. We'll see what it is.
We'll see. That's right. January 31st is also bringing us Dog Man. You ever seen anything for the Dog Man? I tried to include some animated stuff here because you're a dad now. You're a dad. You got to watch dad movies. Even if you don't watch them in the theater, you're going to be watching these dad movies when they come to streaming. So Dog Man's coming. He's half man, half dog.
Jesus Christ!
It's a spinoff from
James
Captain
Wan movie.
Underpants.
Oh, okay.
Remember Captain Underpants? I remember Captain Underpants.
I do.
Spin off of that.
That's why I'm illiterate. I can't read things. I don't understand them.
Has a half man, half dog, and he's a police officer. So he's Dog Man.
All right. That's cool.
Pete Davidson voicing. I'm sorry. Peter Hastings is voicing Dog Man. Pete Davidson is the villain, which is a cat, which makes sense. So there
okay.
You go.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Moving into February. The 7th will bring us Love Hurts. This is the Kiwi Kwan sort of John Wicky, nobody-esque action movie. He's a retired bad guy, but now he's been thrust back into action because of reasons, which I think we talked about the trailer. Looked like, I think, good amount of fun. Yeah. We set forth the key policy, which is if you don't like Kiwi Kwan, we don't like you. It's the Paul Rudd policy extended to Key, and we will stand by that, I think. I'm looking forward to this. Looks like fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. February 11th, over on Netflix, we're getting an animated Witcher film called The Witcher Sirens of the Deep. Trailer for this. If you had a chance to check it out, what do you think? Is this are you ready to give yourself over to an animated Witcher movie?
Yeah, if they can't have Henry Cavill, I don't need to watch a live action Witcher. So
True.
I will watch an animated one instead, and it'll probably be better. So
I think it'll definitely be better than the Liam Hemsworth led The Witcher, which maybe that's coming out this year, a TV show. I didn't even think about it, but who fucking cares? I guess that's why I didn't make it. That's why I didn't make the cut, is because I ain't watching it. Yeah, this trailer made me think, oh yeah, an animated Witcher thing would be fucking badass. Like they could do a whole animated Witcher, Castlevania, Devil May Cry style,
absolutely.
And it would be cool. And I'm like, oh, this world maybe actually just makes more sense in animated form. I think it's not Henry Cavill voicing. I think it's the same actors that played the certain like Dandelion. Jaskier is the same guy. I think Yennefer is the same actor from like the Witcher show. So I don't know. Like this feels visually like it's intended to be kind of the same continuity. Like it seems to be a Henry Cavill looking Witcher.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
but it's voiced by Doug Cockle, who he does the Geralt voice in the video game. He's got it down.
What about the Witcher guy, the bard? Is that the same guy? That seems like the same guy, right?
It's the same guy from the TV show. Yeah. Like this is a live action show. So I assume it's intended to be connected to the live action show. But why does Geralt look really different? In some of the later seasons, I don't know. Maybe he took a fucked up potion and it fucked up his face. We'll see. See if they write it into the show.
Side effect be hilarious if they did
of his poisons or whatever.
Permanently changed his fucking face. And his height and all that stuff.
This trailer just made me think, oh yeah, animated Witcher, that could actually be pretty fun, pretty cool. Like this really didn't look bad, like totally fine. So I don't know if I'll watch it, but it showed to me the potential of like The Witcher as an animated property. I think there's definitely something there that could work. Moving on in February, the 14th, we've got three things, 2 in theaters, 1 on streaming. Captain America: Brave New World. This is Valentine's Day, so these are all date options. You got to think about which one you really want to do. You want to take your lady to see Captain America: Brave New World. Mm-hmm. Anthony Mackie taking on the Shield. He's not Steve Rogers, but he's goddamn Captain America. He's fighting a Red Hulk. Maybe, who's to say? I am to say because it's in the trailer. I'm looking forward to it. I pre-booked some tickets. It feels like one that we'll probably cover.
Wow. Pre-booked tickets.
That's right. Going opening night, February 13th, before 7 p.m. Dolby. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Are you looking forward to Captain America?
I too am looking forward to it. It feels like a proper, I don't know, it feels kind of like maybe potentially, hopefully, a return to force from Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah, like Deadpool was great, but it was kind of a continuation of the Deadpool stuff.
Yeah, it's a different thing entirely, I feel like.
Even though it was Marvel Studios, it was very separate from a lot of the mainline MCU stuff that we've seen, which has not had a great streak in terms of, quality content. Like, there's been stuff here and there that's been pretty good, obviously, but has lacked consistency. And so hopefully this is, a return to form. And this is the first of, I think, three MCU movies that we're getting in 2025. So once upon a time they would go for 3 for 3 in years like this. So obviously we'll see. And, more recently it's been like 1 out of 3, like really good. And then like the other ones are some levels of middling to okay to kind of bad or whatever. So hopefully there's some consistency here. Yeah.
That's right.
Also on the 14th, Paddington in Peru.
Ooh.
Those
Not
first
on the
2
Paddington
Paddington
train.
movies
You on 'em?
are supposed to be goddamn delightful. I haven't watched either of them myself. I feel like, they're both probably pretty kid-friendly. Like, I don't know if it's more like wait until they're like 5 or 6 to really kind of, fully appreciate it. But they're supposed to be absolutely delightful films. I think it's a different director for this third one.
Kind of situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's just something that is very, very, very kid-friendly, not at all intended to be like mature or anything like that, but also at the same time is still very, very adult-friendly. Like everyone's going to appreciate it in probably different ways, but we'll still appreciate it nonetheless. So yeah, I Paddington in Peru, it's kind of not super on my radar, but these movies I think have been pretty good, it seems. So I think there's definitely something here for a lot of people that aren't necessarily me. So it's not always about me, even though maybe it should be. Just kidding. And then finally on streaming, we have Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy in a movie called The Gorge.
Okay.
The Gorge. Okay. The cast alone was enough to get you. Well, there was a trailer that could have sold you or dissuaded you, perhaps, depending on your perspective on it. Scott Derrickson is directing. He directed the first Doctor Strange movie and the Black Phone more recently. Which I'm just now realizing there's also a Black Phone 2 coming out this year. It's in October. I didn't put it on there.
That's the one with
more dead people all calling on the phone. I don't know what happened to Ethan Hawke's character, but maybe he's back still.
That's who's in it. Yeah.
Maybe it's a prequel. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't include it later. So anyway, throwing it out there now. Anyway, The Gorge. What did you think about this?
I thought it looked pretty good.
Are you in on this? Okay.
It looked like, I'm not going to tell you it looked incredible, but it did look like something I am interested in and I want to watch.
I agree. To me, this movie is either going to be... I have a sinking feeling this movie is going to be kind of shit. Like, I think that's how it's going to go.
That's why I prefaced what I said.
Like, that's my gut feeling on it, is it feels like a cool concept that could be really good, but for some reason I'm thinking it's not going to work. Like, I don't know if it's going to work over a 2-hour span.
Right.
And I would very much like to be wrong. It is going to have music from one Trent Reznor and one Atticus Ross, so that's pretty sick. Can't be mad about that. I think I'm willing to give it a go. It's on Apple TV Plus.
Looks potentially like a guilty pleasure. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I think that I don't think it's going to be good, but I'd like to be wrong. I would really like to be wrong. Like, I don't want to be pessimistic.
If it's entertaining, it's enough. Something
about it just gives me oh yeah, this is a streaming movie for a reason, sort of thing. And maybe that's not entirely fair, but it feels like it's like that Cloverfield movie that came out to Netflix, and it's like, it was like a big deal because they bought the rights to have it, and it's like, oh man, this is really cool. And then you watch it and you're like, yeah,
I see why.
There's a reason that whoever sold it didn't want to put it out in a theater. So I don't know if that's necessarily true here, but that's how I feel about it. Anyway, that's The Gorge. Moving on to February 21st, The Monkey.
Yeah, what the fuck is this thing?
This is from Longlegs writer and director Osgood Perkins. He long-legged about in 2024, and now he's monkeying about in 2025. This trailer, Longlegs, I think tonally definitely seemed like it was intended to be pretty serious. This feels very, very tongue-in-cheek, campy, deliberately so.
I will say that whoever's filming that monkey is definitely like an advertising guy. I guarantee if you look up this guy's like his filmography, or whoever's responsible for collecting the shots of the monkey, or whoever's shooting the monkey. Somebody shot inanimate objects to make them look fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It could be as simple as somebody filming a burger, like making a burger, you know? Because that monkey looks good in this trailer. Like
good looking monkey.
Yeah, good looking monkey. It's compelling. He looks like a menacing character, and it's a fucking drumming monkey, you know? So hats off to whoever that.
The monkey that likes killing her family, it's back. It must be vanquished.
It must be vanquished. That guy's a fucking... We need to be worried about the brother off screen. You know what I mean? I feel like he's probably the murderer, you know?
Yeah, it could be. It looks so batshit and bonkers. I kind of... it took me 30, 40 seconds to really truly lock into what the fuck is this, of what this trailer is. But I think the dialogue and I don't know, even the young kids have the worst fucking hair, and everything about this just feels intentionally insane in a deliberate sort of way, which I don't think was the intent with Long Legs, but here, I don't even know what to make of it.
Johnny!
It's that. It's that, but a whole movie of that in terms of tone.
Sarah looked over at me when we were watching that. What the fuck are we watching? Mommy!
Daddy! Yeah. Oh man. I don't know if Nicolas Cage. Maybe Nicolas Cage is the monkey. That's the twist.
Oh shit! Could you imagine?
Yeah. Reteaming Nicolas Cage and Osgood Perkins. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, that's the monkey.
That's the
February
monkey.
21st. February 28th, The Legend of Ochi. This is an A24 movie. I didn't ask you to watch a trailer. I didn't know if you'd seen anything for this. And you're usually,
I think I did.
At least sometimes hip on the A24 things. It's like a little creature thing, creature deal. With a young girl. It's got Willem Dafoe in it.
It does. I'm here for this.
I'm generally here for A24 things.
That's right.
As a general policy. So I don't really know what else to say about it. I didn't include the trailer here because I was like, man, I'm already asking him to watch a lot of trailers, so things had to be axed and cut. But yeah, The Legend of Ochi. Moving into March 7th, we got a brand new trailer for Mickey 17. This is the next Bong Joon-ho movie. And it stars Robert Pattinson as Mickey's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. He's an expendable. He goes and, apparently tests for whether there's viruses in the air or whatever, and, finds out the hard way that, God damn it, there is. So I think we got a full trailer for this a little while back. They shuffled the dates around a little bit. I think this was originally supposed to be April, and then they pushed up to March. So we're getting it a little earlier than expected, which is not a bad thing. One might argue. But love a good Bong movie, and this one looks bonkers as well.
It does.
Not in the monkey way, but in a Bong Joon-ho sort of way.
Yeah.
Like a Snowpiercer-y, the hosty, less Parasite. But
I did watch a show called Secret Level here recently, and there is an episode that is reminiscent of the kind of themes in this.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And it's I'm here for it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, me too. I'm Robert Pattinson, great actor range. He's doing a weird voice. I'm like, yeah, fun, love it. I love it.
I like the dystopian look.
Oh, and Mark Ruffalo looks like he's having a goddamn blast.
I need to get on the Mark Ruffalo train more than I am.
He's an overweight FBI agent. I'm too old for this shit, and now he's like a fucking crazy asshole.
And he was in that. He was in that movie I didn't watch this year with. Was it Emma Stone?
Yeah. Poor Things. He was in that.
I didn't watch that.
He was having a good time in that. Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's good. I like him. I like Mark Ruffalo, the Buffalo. And I'm curious to see Mickey 17. I'm always here for a Bong Joon-ho movie. I will always be here for it. So, March 14th, Steven Soderbergh is giving us a little spy thriller with Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett called Black Bag. What do you think about this? Trailer for this came out. What do you think about it? Are you interested? Are you intrigued by this?
Yeah, I don't know.
interested in
It looks witty.
It's like,
it
it's like
looks
spies and shit, man.
yeah, it's about spies and shit. I think it totally can be okay.
But you're not.
I think the premise
the trailer
is kind
did not.
Yeah, I think the
get you
crux
there,
of the
okay.
whole thing is kind of contrived and kind of stupid.
It's a little Mr. and Mrs. Smithy of
Yeah.
married couple that are spies, but now they're in conflict with each other for maybe reasons. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, how that all plays out.
It's just kind of like a I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I thought like the trailer was very stylishly shot.
It
is,
is.
which is it's Soderbergh. It's expected. Good cast, at least two great leads. So I feel like there's a lot of elements here
Do
that
like
and I think could definitely
like
work.
Kate, like Michael, like like Soderbergh.
Right.
I like all of
Like
that.
it's all there. Do they put the pieces together? Do all the pieces fit?
And I'm sure they probably fit just fine. It just seems
they definitely could. It's just a question of whether they will.
Exactly.
So
We'll see.
All right, Black Bag, that's coming. Talked about it March 14th. The Electric State. That's the Crisp Rat, Millie Bobby Brown, Russo brothers movie where there's like robots and shit, but it's like the 90s or something. Which I think looked like okay, I guess.
I think this looked like
movie.
I think this looked like fucking doo doo. Big doo doo. I'm not here for this one at all.
Well, but it is on Netflix though. That's my counter argument to you.
Okay, fair.
You don't have to see it in the theater. You can queue it up for 10 minutes. Be like, doo doo confirmed. Goodbye. Thank you. No.
It's true.
Yeah, but then you'd have to be paying for Netflix to actually.
This is the one that's got Chris Pratt in his curly hair wig, right?
Yeah, crisp rat with his. He's got
that.
yeah, and I kind of agree. Like those two as leads, I'm like, oh boy, that's a very Netflix sort of cast, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I'm with you. I mean, I feel like I do know. I feel like I do know.
Yeah, like unlike The Gorge, like where it's like this could go either way. There's a chance this is good. With the Electric State, I'm like, I am pretty confident this will actually be bad. Maybe it'll be entertaining and like kind of fun or whatever, but I'm pretty confident in terms of like general quality level, it's not going to be good.
How do we know how long it is? Because I feel like it's going to be unnecessarily long.
I think that's probably a fair assumption. I don't know if it has a locked-in running time.
I got that vibe from the trailer. This is going to be a long movie, and it's going to be unnecessarily long.
It's a movie with a reported budget of $320 million. Like what,
you, dude?
I mean, I'm just purely
Oh.
looking at Wikipedia, and that may not be totally accurate information.
With
but like,
curly hair, Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown on Netflix.
yeah, it's like you couldn't get
My
this guy a better wig
Netflix
for $300 million.
is going up because of this shit.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
because they spend stupid amounts of money on shit like this, and it's like, I mean, I sort of get. I made the joke about the Knives Out, right? It's like I kind of get that though. Like that first Knives Out was a banger. Ryan Johnson's a very talented, creative dude, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not mad the Russo brothers are going to do Marvel again, but like, I don't know. It kind of seems like every time they've done something that's not Marvel, it's been kind of ass, or at least borderline ass. Not in a good sort of way. Just like ass in the doo doo sort of way, which is the way we don't like things.
Ass and not
Ass in the doo doo sort of way.
Yeah, it's
You heard it here first. Put that on the fucking box art for this, or in the trailer.
ass in the bad way.
Ass in the doo doo sort of way.
Yeah, that's
Brilliant insight we offer.
So I don't think we're either
this is-
where.
This is why we're on the top of the Apple Podcast charts.
That's it. Oh, Jesus.
The Electric State. Hey, we've been wrong before. And you know what? Probably more often than not, we've been right before.
I feel like that's the case. But we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, you never say never, right? March 14th, Novocaine. You see a trailer for this? This is a Jack Quaid thing where he's like, he can't feel pain. I don't know if you've seen anything for this.
I have, yeah. That actually looks
Yeah.
pretty fun. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, seems like it could be pretty fun. Jack Quaid's very, charming, charming little Nepo baby, but he's actually pretty good. You know what?
Yeah, he's worth his chops, dude.
One might say he's better than his dad at this point. So, there's that. So good old, and his mom. He's a double nepo baby. Meg Ryan's his mom too.
Damn, yeah, he was stacked from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
But
Born to have the acting genes, that's for sure.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this looks fun.
I think it's cool. That's a fun give. You know what I mean? The crux of this one is pretty. I think it's pretty entertaining. And I don't know. It just looks like a lot of fun. I'm pretty excited about it, honestly.
Yeah, totally. I think it feels like a really kind of fun,
simple,
premise.
Fun movie.
Could be a, like a really fast paced sort of thing that is just like, just generally entertaining and fun. So I'm definitely keen to see it. Yeah, Novocaine, March 14th. All right, one last one to round out March. I don't know. We said a lot of bad things about the Electric State, but well, really the next two that we're going to talk about, the next one will be the beginning of April. But
we'll get to shit on some stuff. What are we talking about here?
March 21st, Disney's Snow White. The live-action adaptation of Snow White is coming. I've been putting off talking about this trailer as long as possible. In fact, I had been putting off watching it as long as possible and made myself do it today, and I don't feel better for it. I think that this is... people complain. Let me say this. People complain a lot about the Disney live-action adaptations. They're soulless. They don't add anything, blah, blah, blah. And I would say that has been true in some instances. I think The Lion King was kind of a soulless tech demo sort of thing. But I think some have been pretty good. The Cinderella one was pretty good. It was the first one. The Beauty and the Beast one was pretty solid, pretty good. Some of them have been like Aladdin was like kind of fucked, but still better than expected, except for Jafar. I think on the whole, they have not been that bad, is my personal assessment. I don't know that any of them have been good. I don't know that any of them have been necessary. And I don't think any of them have elevated the material relative to the original animated film. But hey, translating an older thing for a newer audience in a new medium, new format, a live action format, okay, fine.
I get it.
I understand why they're doing it. I think that, some of them could be better. What the fuck is this?
Dude.
There is no aspect of this where I'm like, I see why they did this. Every single aspect of this, I am like,
it looks real bad. It looks real bad, right? It looks real bad. I'm sitting here, I'm watching, I'm trying to grind through these trailers tonight, just so we can get started in a reasonable hour.
Sure.
And it comes to this one, so oh shit, I haven't seen anything on this besides that first one. Looked like horse shit. And I clicked on this one, and I'm in here, and I laughed so out loud and so hard that the baby said "Dada." I heard him say "Dada" from the living room with the door shut.
Man,
these dwarves, dude.
Honestly,
they was
kind of like, this is bad. I'm like, all right, Gal Gadot. Oh man,
yeah, Gal Gadot's another thing too.
Rachel Zegler is like fine, I guess, but as soon as those fucking goddamn dwarves enter the screen,
they kick in the door and they look like MODOK. They look like MODOK from fucking Ant-Man.
And I'm not saying this because I'm a hateful man. I'm saying this because they are fucked looking CGI creatures, who look just absolutely fucked. Little demented fucks. Just horrifying, ghastly little shits. CGI abominations, monstrosities. It didn't have to be this way. And yet it is. This is what we're getting. They delayed this fucking movie by like a year or some shit, and this is what the fuck they've come up with. I think that they should not be releasing this movie. I think once it became clear that oh no, we fucked it in a big way, they should have shut it down.
Maybe it's a Sonic situation. You know what I'm saying?
They don't have that much time to fix it, but I guess it's possible. I guess Sonic had a pretty quick crunch time for them to unfuck it, but and I think there is an unfucked version because we've talked about this. I think the original intent was not to have little CG dwarves coming around, but because set pics leaked showing off magical creatures, there was a huge backlash, and so they just painted over everything and probably done some reshoots at this point too with the CGI dwarves. And so
I don't
like
know.
there's a way to do CGI characters that's better than this. But the proportions, like all of it is just awful. And the animals too, like the animals.
Don't even get me started on the animals. The art direction.
It's clearly not intended to be super lifelike. It's clearly not trying to do the Lion King thing. It's like trying to make it look a little like a shade more in the direction of being cartoonish. But it has gone like it's taken the slider too far, and everything just looks.
It all just looks fucked. Yeah,
it looks wrong.
It's not good.
Like they've done everything wrong. Like the colors look wrong. The creatures, the dwarves,
you take
everything
her,
just looks wrong.
There's a sequence where she's like running into the forest, and there's
it just looks like shit.
And yeah, her dress is popping, but everything else looks like muddled.
Like nothing looks real, and like obviously it's not. But usually there's at least an attempt to merge, the CG green screeny sorts of elements with the real life elements that are being filmed. And like maybe it's a stylistic choice to just present this as fucked and like sort of like in a whimsical animated sort of feel to it, but it looks fucked. Like if that's your intent, you've perhaps were misguided in the first place and should have realized your mistake at some point. I don't know. This is perplexingly shitty, like in some ways. Like again, I know people are gonna rail on these fucking Disney live action things as just being like, just like the other ones. But like this is a special level of fucked relative to those other ones. Like to be quite honest, like in the Beauty and the Beast one, like the Beast looked like shit, like kind of like in terms of CG, and stuff like that, but not like this. You know what I mean? Like also that one's, however many years old at this point, so it gets somewhat more of a pass. I think it kind of looked like shit at the time. But in 2025,
come on.
This is something that you're advertising? Like I don't know, maybe you'll make money, maybe, because Snow White's a classic animated film that people really, really enjoy, but I just don't know that this I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's pretty bad.
Real bad. But, March 21st.
Maybe we'll get proved wrong.
Probably not. Like I said, more often than not, it turns out we're actually kind of just right. Trust your gut, trust your intuition. You shouldn't close yourself off from the possibility that you will be wrong. Of course, but I think it's fair to have some preconceived notions. Let's put it that way. Let's move on with a palate cleanser. Oh, wait, nope. It's a Minecraft movie. April 4th.
Oh, boy.
We got a new trailer. We had that absolutely fucked teaser. Now we've got a new trailer.
To explain it all.
To see, what's going on. How did Jack Black end up in this world? Turns out he was a kid who loved mining, and so he mined into getting the Tesseract, which transported him to Minecraft world.
What do you think about that, dude?
I mean, I guess it makes more sense as to why Jack Black is just playing himself in this movie. There at least is an explanation for that. Still not entirely sure on why Jason Momoa is doing whatever he's doing.
He played video
in this
games
movie.
in fucking 79, and it's no big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, on one hand, this at least presented as a real movie, unlike the teaser did, where it just felt like, what the fuck is this? This, I still had the same reaction. I mean, it's still the same question of what the fuck is this?
I don't know.
But I kind of at least get the idea of it's like a Tron sort of thing, or it's like a, Lego movie sort of thing where it's kind of zany and, doing, but
not for me, it's not. It looks fucking terrible.
I think it looks terrible, and it just feels misguided. It's the same thing of just being like, I don't know. I mean, a Minecraft movie, it is the most popular video game of all time, but it's popular not, again, as the same things we talked about, like how do you translate that to a narrative movie? And I think that's sort of a mistake to try to box an end to that. Like, I get you want to capitalize on it, and I don't know that there's a really good way to do it. I don't think this is what I would have gone with, but I think I think truthfully, just doing it as an animated movie and the Minecraft style maybe would have been the move, right? Like I think that could have done gangbusters.
Yeah, if you
You
did
know?
like a Lego movie kind of deal.
Yeah, like a Lego movie deal. Like this is trying to do a Lego movie thing, but it's like live action and it just and fucked looking, and it's just not. It's not. It's so uncomfortable to look at. Like just like unsettling and like it's just trying to do so much, but then you've got just literally Jack Black, full beard and all, just Jack Blacking about, and it's like, I mean, I don't know. And Jason Momoa is wearing his, as he talked about, his Fast X character's garb. Like, I don't know, man. It just
rough stuff.
What are we doing here?
Rough stuff.
Why are we pumping presumably hundreds of millions of dollars into shit like this?
It really is amazing.
Like, I mean, you talk about, I mean, I'm not going to get into a full fucking tangent on this, but like, you know, wealth inequality, it's a thing. And then you think about the amount of money that gets spent on shit like this. And obviously, you know, every Marvel movie is getting hundreds of millions of dollars sunk into it too. But it is kind of crazy to think about the scale of money that gets put into anything. That gets put into good and bad, the Electric State, the Gorge, you know, whatever. Even something like The Monkey, which is probably a relatively lower budget movie. It's crazy the amount of money this shit costs. You know, and obviously, you know, generally speaking, usually, you know, for things that are good and successful, like they are getting that money back. So it's, you know, no cost, you know, no sunken cost.
You know, all
like
of it though, when you really look at the money spent to produce any movie, don't get me wrong, right? There's a lot of people involved in a movie. So maybe this is coming out of pocket. Maybe this is not a good statement, but all the money required to produce a movie, like we consistently read about production cost over $100 million.
Right. Yeah.
Consistently. That's like the
standard
bar.
for any sort of big
$100 million, dude.
It's just, yeah. And it's like, that's a drop in the bucket for some people too. It's like, what?
Yeah,
what?
exactly. What?
I can't even fathom that amount of money.
No. And then you think, this is really going to...
And I myself am certainly more well off than millions of people in this very country. I'm not trying to get into this, but it is kind of just asinine to think.
And then think about just, you don't even have to think about the richest person. You could think about the second, third, whatever, right? Think about what it is to have $500 billion.
It's unfathomable. I cannot think of it. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how that would feel. I don't know what that would mean.
Think about
nothing is an object to me. Money, like nothing. There is no value to anything anymore because it doesn't need to be assigned a value because it doesn't matter. I can own that if I really want to.
Anything.
Simple as that.
Anything.
Like what? Just.
We failed ourselves. I sent a gift to you of Jesus smoking a cigarette to say "flood it again."
Flood it again.
That's exactly that.
Perhaps it's time.
Anyways.
Perhaps it's time. Anyway, when you see trailers for Snow White and a Minecraft movie, you really start to question reality, and for good reason. But maybe sometimes there's an Alex Garland to pull you back in. April 11th, Warfare, co-directed by Alex Garland, I should say, and co-directed by like an Iraq War veteran, Ray Mendoza, which is interesting, based on his experiences during the Iraq War as a Navy SEAL. It's like a real-time mission of Navy SEALs, you know, in I guess the Middle East. Like I said, co-directed by Alex Garland. I think maybe co-written as well. Pretty good cast of mostly British people, but you know, hey, that's okay too. British people can be American sometimes too. Will Poulter, Shogun's Cosmo Jarvis, Kit Connor, others. I feel like there were other people I recognized. Joseph Quinn was in it, another British fuck. All these British fucks, man. What are they doing? Did they film this in the UK? Come on. Yeah, Alex Garland thing, right?
Yeah. I think this is gonna be a heavy movie, dude. I think this is gonna be a harrowing watch. I think this is going to be one of more. I think it's going to be obviously it's got to be more grounded. You know what I mean? But I think what'll be interesting is when you take Alex Garland and you take him out of the you take him.
Well, this is right. This is fully realistic, grounded. No.
Yeah, and I think you're really going to have something very
nothing
special.
Crazy going on here
because you're gonna reduce the headiness from like concepts, like heady concepts and like just sci-fi shit, and you're gonna boil that down to like heavy shit just in general.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I think it's really gonna it really puts him in a box, and I think that I think it's probably gonna be a good. I don't know if it's going to necessarily put him in challenge him in any particular way, but it's going to be something different for him, and I think it's
it's definitely different. Like it's just a very different sort of feel, and it seems like something that's going to be like very intense.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Imagine
very visceral.
His movies
like that, are the most visceral aspects of Civil War, but for a whole fucking runtime.
Yeah, like his movies are intense. And they're loosely grounded in reality, right? Like they're heady things to think about and sci-fi concepts and stuff. But if you take somebody that can make that sort of stuff heavy and heavy and heady, and you put him in more of a grounded situation, I think that you can really probably have a really good thing to work off of. So I hope that
for sure. Yeah.
I hope that he's got capable people behind the camera and they're able to capture that. You know what I mean? Because I have a feeling it's going to be something special and very powerful. It's probably something that you're going to watch once and probably not want to watch it again.
I think that's definitely an accurate description. This is A24 as well, and I don't know if I realized that initially, but it does feel like it's going to be intense. It's like, I mean, like 1917 was. I haven't watched since. I saw
that was a good one.
Because it's just the way that it was shot, everything that it's kind of showing, like it's just so intense by design that it's like, I don't know, man. It's not really designed to give you a breather, and that's not the kind of movie that you just go back to regularly. So
no, it's a movie people grow from, though. We talk about growth. This is one I think that you pull something special from.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. So we'll see. Alex Garland, anything he touches, I immediately just start with an interest in it, right? So
yeah.
So moving on, April 18th, Sinners. Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan reteaming in this.
It's a vampire one.
He's playing. It seems like a vampire sort of thing, a supernaturally sort of thing. Little. Straight up, it's just called a horror film on Wikipedia.
Okay.
So he's like playing like twin brothers or something. So I feel like we've only had the one kind of teaser, so we haven't gotten a full like reveal of what's happening, but definitely some horror-y shenanigans happening. So Ryan Coogler, like an Alex Garland as a filmmaker, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm happy to see what you come up with. This is what swapped places with Mickey 17. It was originally going to be March and it got pushed back to April. So yeah, we'll be getting Sinners April 18th. I think this is one that when we get a fuller trailer that might give us a little bit better perspective on it, I think we'll bring it back up, have a conversation about it, and definitely seems like it has
the teaser
potential
was good,
to be
though.
something that we catch in theaters and cover. But the teaser was definitely effective, good for sure. April 25th, Until Dawn. We're getting a little video game adaptation, sort of.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember half this shit happening.
Well, the reason you don't remember half this shit is because this is not the story of the video game. It is kind of roughly the concept of it, of people getting stuck in a location and bad things happening and they have to survive until dawn or whatever. But that's kind of where the similarities end. Oh, and Peter Stormare is in it because he was like the like narrator, I think, in the video game, the first video game. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's it's a horror movie, and they kind of get murdered and come back and have to, it's like, I guess, Happy Death Day sort of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
and relive their life Groundhog Day style, and have to figure out how to prevent their own deaths. Like, I think as a concept, it could be interesting, could be well executed. I don't know why it's called Until Dawn. It really doesn't seem to have much of the same DNA as the video game, which I think is very fun. Like, I almost feel like they got latched onto the idea that, like, the video game is very much about choice. If you make a choice to do this, it's going to impact who lives and who dies. And so it's kind of this idea of like, well, how do you really adapt that into a movie without just picking a chosen narrative? Like, then you're just making the choices for the audience. It takes the purpose away. So they're like, well, we can't do a straight adaptation because then it's just telling you this is the way it should be, which is antithetical to what the video game stood for, which is you are, it's to create your own adventure. Like, that's the point of it. So I think it's kind of a weird, like I kind of get that, like, they wanted to reintroduce the like a way to give you like a choose your own adventure sort of thing, like the way that the Clue movie did it back in the 80s, if you recall. Was there's different endings that, originally when you went to in the theaters, like, you might have a different ending depending on where you saw it, and then later on in home release they just showed you the alternate endings as part of the same presentation. It's like, that's really interesting, of viewing like multiple choice ending sort of thing.
I feel like that was a recent thing too, wasn't it? Didn't a movie recently do that?
It's possible.
Or am I thinking of when you told me about Clue? Because I don't know.
I don't specifically remember. It's definitely possible it's been done recently. I don't know off the top of my head. I can't think of what it would have been. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think this looks bad. I think it looks like a pretty entertaining horror movie. I like the kind of concept of it. I don't know. I'm intrigued, I think, by this. April's a weird time.
I think it's going to be. I think it's probably going to be pretty rough.
It's probably going to be bad. I think it's another one of those where I'm like, I think this could be fun. Like, there are horror movies that definitely, like, have like do like a creative version, an interesting version of their concept. That is executed well. Like that first Happy Death Day is an example. Where I'm like, oh, that was like actually like a really well done, clever horror movie. The Invisible Man, to talk about what we talked about earlier, like a clever concept and like really well executed version of that horror movie. Will this be that? I don't know. I mean, probably not, but it could be. I mean, it could be interesting. Could work. But I don't know.
The property is one that I enjoy. I think it's
the property is one I enjoy, and like I think that something like, I don't know, like I guess they could have at least made it closer. Like, I think you could have done the same story of the game and then kind of had this conceit in there to make it not just feel like a boxed-in narrative that, betrays what the elements of the game were. But it's kind of weird to just do it in like a totally different thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That to me is a little odd. So, and it doesn't mean it's going to be bad, but it's just odd to like throw. You want to
completely detach it from what's been established and everything.
And it's like, it's not like Until Dawn is some majorly recognizable brand. Like, it's not Resident Evil if you're talking about horror. It's not Silent Hill. Like, I don't think it's like such a huge brand or IP that like it makes sense to throw it in there. Like I think generally most people are going to see this and have no idea that it's based off of a video game, except for maybe when they see PlayStation Productions at the beginning, like, oh, okay, that's weird, So
agreed. So why make it? I don't know. Why make it weird this way? Whatever.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a moot point. Who cares? But it's odd. I think it's an oddity. I'll say so. Could be all right. Why are you putting out horror movies in April? I don't know, but I guess you can't dump them all in October. I guess then they would get overloaded. But as we'll get to, there's a dearth of horror movies coming out in October, at least that are super relevant to our interests. But anyway, any other thoughts? Ready to move to May?
Move to May.
On to May 2nd, Thunderbolts *, the second MCU film. We got a big trailer that we talked about a little while back. It's kind of the MCU's misfits from some prior movies. A lot of Black Widow characters, Yelena, Florence Pugh, David Harbour's Red Guardian, Bucky's here, U.S. Agent from Falcon and Winter Soldier, Taskmaster from Black Widow, Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's characters. It's kind of pulling together a few pieces of the MCU for like an action sort of Suicide Squad-y, Avengers-esque sort of team up thing. And the Sentry's in there too, Bob.
Oh.
I liked what I saw from that trailer. I'm like, I don't know that I'm like jazzed for this movie in the sense that it's not the most exciting movie that Marvel's ever made, but I feel like there's like good potential for like a fun action movie in this, and I feel like that's kind of what we saw from that trailer. So I am looking forward to it. I don't have huge hopes or expectations, but I'm expecting it like a solid action deal. Is kind of where I'm at with it. So I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah, I agree. I'm not expecting the New World Order.
I'm keeping expectations in check, which maybe is a net positive. If it's better than we expect, then we're happy. We go home happy. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll get another trailer for that. We'll check back in. May 23rd, jumping a little bit later in the month. A couple movies, maybe a couple different audiences being targeted here. The live-action adaptation, yet another one, from Disney, of Lilo and Stitch. We've only got like this little 30-second deal, which shows Stitch being a little shithead, messing around in the sand. Which his whole character is just being a little shit, so it kind of makes sense. He's a force of destruction. Live-action thing here. I think it's the same Chris Sanders reprising his voice role as Stitch because it sounds like Stitch, that sort of thing.
Yeah, right.
I talked about it recently watching the animated one, which is great. Definitely holds up, is very good. From little we've seen of this, I feel like the design has translated well. I think it looks fine in live action.
Yeah, they didn't try to make him look photorealistic. He looks photorealistic, but
still kind of alien and not in a fucked sort of way.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like non-fucked, like a clearly not earthly creature, but not whatever the CG dwarfs are. I think this is a movie, or like the animated movie is definitely one that could translate pretty well. Kind of somewhat riding on whether the designs themselves in like the animation translates that well to a live action side of things. And I think that this almost feels closer in like DNA to like Sonic in terms of like its design sensibilities of
right.
Like obviously it's a CGI creature. It's not really intended to be Lion King lifelike. But unlike the animals that are kind of animated looking in the Snow White trailer, that stands out because they look fucked against everything else looking fucked. This, like, Stitch doesn't look fucked because everything looks pretty normal and straight up here and like clearly a CGI creature, but like one that looks fine. So I don't know. I think there's potential here. I think, is this going to be better than the animated movie? No, none of them are. It's the same thing, as we've said. None of them are going to be better. But maybe this is a fun reinvention of it at the same time. It's kind of like to me, that's the best case scenario, is it's a fun reinvention. When it's a straight up remake like this, like I know we didn't watch, at least I didn't watch Mufasa, and I assume you didn't.
No.
Like that one's a somewhat original story with, new songs and stuff like that. So it's at least a little bit different. I don't know if it was good or not, but like, this is probably kind of the same deal, but as long as it's a half decent version of it, doesn't have a real reason to exist, but at least it's something good enough, I guess, to at least somewhat justify its own existence. So that's Lilo and Stitch. Any you're looking forward to it at all? You think you'll check it out? Anything?
Yeah,
really?
Like you say, I think that if it gets anywhere close to the heights of the original, and it can reinvent it for a younger audience, I think that's cool.
Yeah. All right. 23rd, probably what we'll be spending our time in a theater with. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Oh, the Final Reckoning.
It's the final reckoning. I think that's it. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down for some Tom Cruise Mission Impossible shit.
This is the last one, though. Is that right?
I mean, for now, we'll see. Usually when you put the final something in there, it should mean that in theory.
Do you
Tom Cruise
think
can't do this forever, even though he pretends to be an ageless vampire.
he might be?
I don't know. He might be. I mean,
He was in that
Zeno
one
might be
movie.
keeping him ageless. I don't know. Yeah,
Did
I think he was interviewed. Maybe.
yeah, right. It's gonna be great. I'm sure it's gonna be awesome. Does he? Do you think he trusts the property to Glenn Powell? You know, whenever he's done. Do you think?
Well,
Glenn Powell's
maybe
the
he
next
tried to
Mission
entrust it
Impossible?
to Jeremy. I don't think Jeremy's obviously going to be quite up for it moving forward. But I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of. I think 8's a pretty good run. It might be okay to just leave it alone, and in 20 years let someone reboot it.
Okay, so like 007. Well, I mean, that wouldn't be 007 treatment if they let it wait that long. But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. To me, I don't think you need to keep the Mission Impossible franchise running every 3 years. To me, it's not a franchise that demands that. I mean, if Tom Cruise is willing to keep doing it, at a certain point, you still have to cut him off because it will
listen,
get
Tom.
silly.
Listen, you've done enough. Right.
Yeah, and I just think, they keep getting pretty bigger and bombastic with it, and I just think it kind of hits a crescendo where it's just like, all right, I think
This is it.
you've done everything you needed to do. Like and it's just you're going to lose the quality at a certain point. You know what I mean? And like you're going to have diminishing returns. Like the last Mission Impossible didn't do amazingly well. There's a reason that this is not Dead Reckoning Part 2. It's because Dead Reckoning Part 1 didn't do as well as they wanted it to, so they blamed it on the title, which maybe it's somewhat to do with it, but it's probably not. It's just
Not
probably
entirely,
just somewhat
right.
diminishing returns, So I don't know. I if this is it, I hope they go out with a bang. Big plane stunts, Tom Cruise running about, punching people, shooting people, whatever he's got to do, getting hit by cars. I don't know. Driving motorcycles off another cliff. Maybe there's a bigger one. Whatever he needs to do, I think just, balls to the wall, go for it. Put everything out on the table. Don't hold your cards back. Like, just go for it. And if Tom Cruise in 5 years is like, I got one more idea, fine. I'm not going to say no, but I think that, I don't know. I don't need to see this as an ongoing every 3 years franchise. Like at this point, I think now that we're getting to the point where I think maybe it's okay to wind it down. And I think that, again, calling it the Final Reckoning maybe to me implies that they're feeling the same way.
They agree, right?
Let's give it our all. We can't do this forever. It strains credulity to keep doing this forever. Let's go for it. Let's fucking go. So I'm excited for the Final Reckoning. I think it's gonna be
good, dude.
Pretty good. Christopher McQuarrie as director, writer. And the cruise missile, man. The cruise missile rarely misses.
It's going full on 80s too with this. They got like a battle in the submarine with everybody in their underwear and shit.
Yeah, it's like doing throwbacks to the first movie and stuff. It's just going for it. It's trying to tie it all together, and hopefully they can do it in a more satisfying way than something like The Rise of Skywalker did. It's like somehow Palpatine returns. Like, okay, somehow the villain, somehow John Voight returned, or whatever.
Fuck! Could you imagine?
They don't need to do shit like that. Somehow Dougray returned. It's because he pulled him in with a scarf. We don't need to do all that, but I think there's a way to narratively pay this all off in a really cool, satisfying way. So I think they can do it. I think everyone involved is passionate, has put in great work in the past. The cruise missile is dedicated. He's got some personal character flaws, perhaps, but when it comes to his craft, he is a dedicated, no bullshit kind of guy. So I'm pumped to see what he's got, in store as maybe his last hurrah as Ethan Hunt. So yeah,
agreed.
Well then, let's move on. May 30th, Karate Kid Legends. Told you there would be more Karate Kid. Here we are. The Karate Kid-averse is expanding, or should I say merging. It's Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. They're back. It's Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han from the Jaden Smith Karate Kid movie that everyone definitely saw and loved.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
But the good news is they've left Jaden Smith behind. Just Jackie Chan coming along for the ride. There's a new kid. There's a new Karate Kid. It ain't Jaden Smith, and it ain't anyone from Cobra Kai. Let's put it that way.
Except,
well, I mean Daniel-san is there.
Daniel-san's there.
Of course, Daniel-san is there. But yeah. So yeah, it's like a new Karate Kid movie, kind of merging, the previous cinematic incarnations of the Karate Kid. Hilary Swank cameo unconfirmed would be fun. I don't think she's made it into the Cobra Kai yet. I think for me, the one thing with this is like Cobra Kai exists. Like you don't need to like decanonize Cobra Kai to make this work. Like I feel like those two things can totally stand on their own. Like maybe Johnny isn't a character in this, but like my one hope with this is like don't just piss on the Cobra Kai stuff that happened. Like let that, even if it's kind of in its own bubble, like fine. But otherwise, I mean, if we got a trailer for this, I think pretty stylish, like the music and the cues and stuff I thought was pretty solid.
Yeah, for sure.
This could be fun. It kind of looks like a Karate Kid sort of movie. It kind of, what you'd expect out of this. I don't know. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it looked good. I did think it looked good.
Yeah. This
it's like a modern Karate Kid.
Yeah. Without Jaden Smith, which is better. Yeah. $100 million budget. On what? What are you spending that on? Jackie Chan? $85 million goes to Jackie Chan.
He says, of course I liked in that movie.
That's fucking people punching and kicking,
He says,
man.
I guess I'll do it. 85 million, I guess I'll do it.
That's nuts. I mean, what?
Think about it, dude.
It's a money laundering scheme. It's all a money laundering scheme. That's what it is.
It's got to be something. It's fucking outrageous. It's outrageous.
Yeah. Anyway, June. We're getting sucked into the weeds. June 6th, from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. Yep, it was supposed to come out a year earlier. It didn't. We got The Crow instead. It was really good. Just kidding. No one saw it. But we are getting Ballerina in 2025. Ana de Armas is picking up the torch. She's a ballerina, just like they did in the trailer. Because had to keep things on the nose.
Find the word that. What the fuck? What was it? Oh, it was MGMT. Was in the.
What was that? What was that in front of?
It was in Minecraft.
Was it
the Minecraft trailer.
Yeah. Yep.
Not even MGMT can save you, motherfuckers. What are you doing?
Yeah, they tried. Sorry. They failed. Ballerina. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, more John Wick, Ana de Armas, and a John Wick thing.
No problem.
I mean, it should work. It could work. We hope it works. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. So I think that. It's not, maybe it won't have the deft touch that the John Wick movies have had because it's a different director, but, we're going to get a Keanu cameo. We're going to get, I think, an Ian McShane, Lance Reddick cameos because they filmed this 17 years ago. It's just been delayed a lot. I think they retinkered with it during production. I think they had to like reshoot some stuff. So I think that's kind of somewhat to account for the release date delay. But either way, I'm in for it. June 6th, from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. No, just okay. I'm gonna move on. June 13th. 2 movies on June 13th, actually. Pixar's Elio and How to Train Your Dragon. We just talked about Dragon pretty recently. I think we've kind of said what we needed to say about it.
Yeah. Elio, this is a new trailer I think we've seen for Elio.
It is a new trailer for Elio. That's true. So this had a trailer like a year ago. It got super delayed. It's a Pixar movie, which I think was supposed to come out in 2024, then was pushed back, and I think they kind of reworked it a little bit. Like this teaser, I think kind of this, similar sort of thing. Kid, gets zapped up into space and becomes the ambassador of Earth, but it seemed like tonally a little bit, it was kind of changed from the original one. I think it looks really nice. I mean, colors, I think, really pop. I think it looks very fun. I love a good original Pixar IP. So I thought this teaser was very pleasant and just I don't know, just nice.
And it's about a kid with one eye, which I can identify with.
That's true. I think we talked about that a year ago or whenever that first teaser came out.
I feel like this has been. I feel like I've been watching shit on this for a long time. I would like to finally see it and then determine whether or not it's good, and then move past it. They can go. I think it can go either way. We don't have a whole lot to go off of, but
but Pixar's got a good track record. I mean,
they do. They do. I have no reason to doubt them.
Right.
But anyways, I'd like to see it and move on because, like I said, I think we've seen a lot of marketing for a really long time.
Yeah, that's kind of the tough thing. I think it was also strike affected. Just looking at it quickly, like that's the tough thing. You know, there's always like something that's just keeps getting dragged out because of the release dates. Like, Kraven the Hunter. Man. Like, Jesus Christ, can we be done with this? Top Gun Maverick prior to that was like, had been delayed like 17 times.
Top Gun Maverick was
Mission
the worst.
Impossible, I think, was also delayed a lot. I think the last one was delayed. It's just like, man, like there's a movie we're going to talk about at probably the very, very end of this film stuff where it's just like, how many times are you delaying this fucking movie? But we'll get there. So anyway, rest of June 20th. Another one we talked about recently, 28 years later, more Alex Garland goodness, reteaming with Danny Boyle.
Oh my gosh.
From their 28 days later pairing to now, bringing us the sequel to that, which looks, that trailer was very haunting, very effective, looked great. Look, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are independently two filmmakers where I'm like, yep, I'm good. I'll check that out. Putting them in the same room, working on the same thing feels unfair, like especially these days.
For sure.
I'm really, really interested in 28 years later. Really quality franchise. I mean, I think the first one is fantastic. The Weeks is, I think, pretty good too. Definitely not as good, I think, as Days, but I think still kind of pretty good in its own right.
Yeah, sure.
So just see this follow-up, which feels like a movie that like people have wanted for years and years, but to see it finally come together and not just in a hacky sort of studio bullshit sort of way of like, let's just hire Paul W.S. Anderson to make it, or, whoever, like feels really exciting. So I think 28 years later has a lot of potential. I'm really,
it's going to be a big movie. It's going to be a big release for the year, I think.
I think so. I think it's going to be pretty effective. Last two in June, both on the 27th. F1. I think we got the teaser for this, the Brad Pitt, Joseph Kosinski movie.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Big driving movie. It's F1, Formula One, to be clear. I think just the teaser we've got for that, but it looked, pretty stylish. It's definitely going to be a watching Dolby IMAX sort of movie, I think, based on just the sound design alone. Top Gun Maverick-esque in that regard. So a lot of potential there. I think a lot of potential there. I can't remember if we really got a good sense of what the story was going to be, but I think it's one of those things where that the driving sequences are going to be probably worth the price of admission alone, and hopefully it's packaged in a movie that is compelling in other regards. But also on the 27th, M. Thregan 2.0, baby.
Oh, man.
The sequel to M. Thregan. M. Thregan. Allison Williams is back. The kid's back. Violet McGraw's back. M. Thregan's back. What's she up to this time? Is she a fridge? I think she was a fridge or something at the end of the last one. Maybe I'm just making that up. Wasn't she in the fridge? I swear she infiltrated the fridge. I could be making that up.
That's a normal trope for this genre of film.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's M. Thregan 2.0. All right. I mean, it's back. It's the same people. It's the same writer. It's the same director.
Perfect.
They're getting the band back together to make more M3.
Yeah.
And what more could you ask for? Right? So, I don't know what the hell the plot's going to be, but M3gan's back to probably wreak some havoc and have some revenge would be my guess. So
cool. I'm here for it.
Very cool. That first movie was really fun. So I'm definitely down to see more of it. All right, let's get into the back half of this year. I know we've been here a while. I promise there are not that many movies left. I promise. Like I said, the front half is it's front loaded, and then this back half it's a little bit more sparse. So we can kind of go down this list pretty quickly. And I will, well, I'll save it for a second. July 2nd, Jurassic World Rebirth, a sort of different direction for Jurassic World. It's stepping away from the Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard side of things, but it is, I think, a sequel in the sense that it's, post those Jurassic World movies. The dinosaurs are out in the world, so it's a real Jurassic World, if you will. But new cast here, new story. Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey.
Wow,
kind of the leads.
Big names.
Big names.
I retract my poo-poo sound.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's okay. The environment has shown itself to be inhospitable to dinosaurs, so now the dinosaurs are contained to certain areas. Okay, we're going back to more of a Jurassic Park sort of thing. They realized the Jurassic World idea was like, this shit ain't working. There's a reason these fuckers went extinct in the first place. So, and maybe it wasn't just the big meteor that killed them all, or the asteroid rather. But it's a new Jurassic. There'll be dinosaurs.
Big cast. Yeah, ScarJo in there.
Yeah.
I'm
Mahershala Ali will be there.
Yeah, he's a big name.
So Jurassic Park movies could work. It's directed by Gareth Edwards. To remind you of that, we did talk about that. That inspires a lot more confidence than a Colin Trevorrow or any of the other, chuckle fucks that did the other Jurassic World movies, which the first Jurassic World was like fine. The other two were ass, my dude, in the doo-doo way, to be clear. And so, like, this could work. As like a sort of pseudo sequel rebooty sort of thing. Rebirth of the franchise. Oh my goodness. So we'll see.
I'd like to see another good Jurassic Park. I
would too. I'm not opposed to it. It could work. It's possible. It is possible to make it work. July 11th, Superman. And this is the reason why we gave it the space on the Nosferatu episode, is because instead of talking about it many hours into one of these episodes where we're kind of like a little bit zonked, to be honest, it's a lot in movies and TV shows we fucking talked about it. We're starting to get to the point where it's just like, how many more of these things?
So
this is why we talked
movies.
about that trailer. So if you want to hear our full thoughts on the trailer, go listen to our Nosferatu episode. Use the timestamp if you must. We are pumped for Superman. I think that's pretty much what we said. This is James Gunn's Superman, David Corenswet as Superman, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult. I think he's assembled a really good cast, and this is the true proper kickoff to the DC universe as brought to us by James Gunn and Peter Safran in a live action space. And it really feels like a good, honest to God, earnest, down to earth Superman movie, and not a dour, Superman sad sort of Zack Snyder-y sort of thing. And it just feels right. And it feels like there's hope and optimism and just, hey, 2025, this is the kind of movie we might need. This is the kind of movie that might make you think, all right, there are Lex Luthors in the world, but maybe there are also Supermans in the world, So I think that this might be more timely now more than ever, to be quite honest. Like just having a pure
something hopeful,
a pure Superman movie. If this is a pure character, and this is a pure version, retelling of this character. Like I think that there's definitely a lot of potential for this movie to be huge.
I think so. I feel it, dude.
On a personal, emotional level, but I think also I hope that this is I hope this movie does really well. I hope that this I feel like Superman movies since the Christopher Reeve movies haven't really had the same sort of attachment for general. I don't know. You and I growing up, I almost feel like Superman was kind of like, Superman's kind of lame.
Yeah.
But now I'm older and I'm there's just something pure and raw about Superman, and I think that Batman's cooler. Don't get me wrong, Batman's way fucking cooler. But there is something kind of
just
there's idealistic and something. There's something about Superman that just should make you feel good, and that's what Superman should do, is just make you feel like, oh, there is good in this world. It's Superman.
There's a sequence in that trailer where like a guy's pissed off and he throws a can at Superman, and Superman just keeps walking.
So, yeah,
and I think that speaks volumes. Superman could literally just turn around and laser your brains out.
Homelander his ass.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you said, it's just pure. And I think it's good. I do think it's good. I think it's I hope
alternatively, he could snap your neck.
He could. Yeah, he could. He could do that too. And you wouldn't even know it too, because he moves at the speed of, like, he could travel through you. Just run you over. He could do so many.
He could A-train you.
so many fucking terrible things he could do.
Creative ways to kill you. So many creative ways. Can't even think of them all. There's so many options.
And he doesn't. He just fucking keeps walking. You know what I mean?
Freeze breath your ass.
I think we have a lot to learn from Superman.
Fatality.
We can all be assholes. We could all do terrible things, but we don't. You know why? Because it's like the fucking right thing to do. That's good. I like that. I like that a lot.
But there's something to be said for, learning values and grace and morals, and I don't know. Interesting. All right. Last in July, 25th, The Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Wow.
The proper introduction of the Fantastic Four into the MCU. This is the final MCU movie of the year, because Blade is not making its November release date it once had.
Boy.
But yeah, you've got the Fantastic Four. You've got Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby as the Invisible Woman, Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch, and Evan Moss-Backrack as the Thing. Really, I think great core cast of those four. I'm really, really excited to see them all stepping into their roles. Galactus is here. Ralph Ineson going to be Galactus. We're going to get a Silver Surfer of some sort. It's a full, unabashed Fantastic Four movie, and it's Marvel's first attempt, Marvel Studios attempt at it, and I'm really, really excited to see how they do it. So I'm, I want to see more. I think what we've seen visually has made me really, really like this sort of retro 60s aesthetic, because it seems to be maybe in a different world from ours. Seems to be some of the setup. But this is definitely high on my list of things that I'm anticipating in 2025 personally, because much like we need a great Superman movie, if we can get not only a great Superman movie in the month of July, but also a great Fantastic Four movie.
Holy crap.
Oh, man. What a month. What a month that would be. So, all right. Any thoughts on Fantastic Four for you? Beyond
I 100%
certainly
agree
discussed many times.
With everything you just said.
Right on. August, two quick entries. August 1st. August 1st. August 1st, we are getting a remake of The Naked Gun.
What?
With Liam Neeson in the lead, alongside Pamela Anderson.
Interesting.
Yeah, a little interesting. Directed by The Lonely Island's Akiva Schaffer, I think. Story by Seth MacFarlane. I mean, I don't know. It's a little
unique announcement for sure. I didn't see that coming.
Liam Neeson, I gotta see it to believe it in terms of whether he can pull it off. Leslie Nielsen has a very particular energy and zaniness that I think is probably not going to be attempted to be recaptured. But how do you come out, even touching it? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
That's kind of how I feel about it. But August 8th, we'll be getting Freakier Friday as well. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to be even freakier than the last time they were freaky on Friday. I promise it was a very, very, very normal movie. It's Disney, man. It's Disney, okay? All right, you can't get too risque with these things. Yeah. Body swap. They did a body swap when she was a teen, and she was her mom, but you know she's not as old as she was now. So I assume they're body swapping again.
Ooh, pretty freaky.
But it's freaky because now she's a super old lady, and the old lady is in a I don't know 30-something-year-old Lindsay Lohan body. So okay, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm here for that one.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, maybe a trailer will convince you otherwise.
Maybe.
Might be my birthday present, because just 5 days before my birthday. That's really fun.
Exciting.
All right, but one entry in September. See, I told you to be winding down. The Bride, with an exclamation point at the end that I didn't put on the script. Apologies. Written, directed, and produced by Maggie Gyllenhaal. This film stars Jessie Buckley, Christian Bale, Penelope Cruz, Peter Sarsgaard, and Annette Bening. It is inspired by The Bride of Frankenstein, which, of course, is an adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It's kind of a new take on Frankenstein and the bride situation. Christian Bale is playing Frankenstein's monster. Jessie Buckley is playing the bride. And yeah, it's like a little Frankenstein deal. It's going to be a little bit of a Frankenstein sort of year, and we'll get there about what else is going on the Frankenstein front. But what do you think? You think you in for a bride sort of movie, Frankenstein's bride sort of movie?
Yeah, I'd take that. That sounds cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Give me a trailer. Let me make sure. But because I didn't see the last Frankenstein thing that came out, which would be that Mark Ruffalo, Emma Stone one.
Yeah, poor thing is definitely.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. But I'd like to think I'm here for that
Frankenstein
one.
and Creature Commandos as well, and a bride.
Yeah, a lot of Frankenstein stuff coming out. I haven't been a part of any of it.
Yeah, it's what happens when you're in the public domain. Everyone can just steal your shit and do their own version of it. So anyway, September 26th, The Bride. There will probably be other movies in September, but there wasn't anything that came across my desk that seemed that interesting to talk about. So on to October we go. October 3rd, Michael, a Michael Jackson biopic.
Ooh.
I think his nephew or something is playing Michael Jackson.
Not Chris.
Kind of interesting.
Chris Rock?
Definitely not Chris Rock.
Am I thinking of Chris Rock? Is that...
I don't know, actually.
I watched a stand-up. It's an old stand-up. A portion of an old stand-up, and he did a joke about Michael Jackson being a pimp.
Okay.
And I think that's Chris Rock.
Right. It might be. That would make sense. I wasn't sure what the connection you were going for was.
Who was in it's the guy, I'm pretty sure it's Chris Rock, but the guy that was in Fifth Element?
Yeah, isn't that Chris Tucker?
Chris Tucker. Yes.
Yeah, the other Chris.
Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker would be a good. We could do Chris Tucker as Michael Jackson.
Okay.
I'd be here for that.
Well, you're not getting that. You're getting Jafar Jackson, who is Michael Jackson's nephew.
Okay.
Which means that he is also the nephew of Tito, Marlon, Jackie, Randy, Rebby, LaToya, and Janet Jackson, in case you were wondering.
Wow.
Yeah, lots of relatives. Yeah. Following. Yeah. Pretty much. Michael Jackson's life and career from his time with the Jackson 5 as a child to his final weeks before his death in 2009. So we're going all the way, from one era of Michael to a very different era of Michael. Michael Jackson.
Dude.
Some fucking bangers, obviously. Obviously some fucking bangers. Great musician. Weird fucking guy at a bare minimum to say anything about him on a personal note. Weird fucking guy. But he's just holding some children off balconies here and there.
Tiger blood, dude. Yeah.
Blanket. This kid named Blanket. Is that right? Am I making that up?
Is his kid named Blanket? Did you make that up? I thought you were making a rhyme or something.
I don't know. I'm going to fact check it now. We could just watch Michael when it comes out on October 3rd and find out about Blanket, or maybe not Blanket. Alternatively, we'll find out. Children, 3, including Paris Jackson, musician, but not Blanket. Control F, Blanket. Nickname. All right. Wasn't the kid's actual name. All right, we're
His
good.
nickname was Blanket?
The nickname was Blanket. Real name Prince. Prince Michael Jackson II. Anyway, yeah, I think it could work. I mean, I don't. It's gonna ride or die by the Michael Jackson actor.
Absolutely,
you like that, and like I don't know, man. The physical transformation's gonna be interesting to depict.
The mannerisms, all of it. Like it's gonna be a character performance.
That's a tough role.
And
I don't want no Rami Malek, Freddie Mercury bullshit. I want Taron Egerton, Elton John sort of shit. Like you gotta give me something.
And like I can appreciate that homie's related to
yeah, but that
Michael.
Ain't enough. You gotta have it.
No, you gotta have it. You gotta
have it. Yeah.
So I'm honestly a little concerned. Like if you told me,
I think there's a fair chance that this is dog shit because it's too difficult to really, really, truly well pull off well.
For sure.
But maybe
we'll see.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see, right? October 10th, Tron Ares. Jared Leto is here to ruin the Tron franchise, but hopefully his impact on the film will be undone by Nine Inch Nails doing the score. Hopefully,
listen, he can do good things. Okay,
He's not a bad actor. He's just a weird fucker who can't help himself. Yeah, and too often he just plays a version, something too close to himself in his movies.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the bigger issues. Is he's often just kind of doing his own thing. So if he's in this movie underneath a Tron helmet the entire time, probably fine. He'll probably you'll be able to recognize the voice. He'll pick it out. But it's like if it's him with the long hair and the piercing eyes and just being kind of weird and off kilter, like,
in an Italian accent, maybe perchance.
Well, that was not him. You're right. He did stretch for that one. He just stretched a little too far. He stretched to a place that he really shouldn't have stretched to, and he definitely pulled a few things.
He fucking pulled a muscle.
He pulled a couple muscles in the process.
I had a funny bone there, dude.
Christ. Anyway, Tron Ares, what do you think? You think?
Keep stretching, Jared. Keep stretching. Oh, no. Fuck. It's a me. It's a Jared Leto.
Oh man.
Yeah, we'll see what he does.
It's a me, Aries. On the light cycle.
Oh fuck! He pulled a muscle again, guys. Ooh. Okay.
Tron Ares. October 24th, Mortal Kombat 2, a sequel to Mortal Kombat, bringing back much of the cast, adding Carl Urban as Johnny Cage.
Fuck! Stop it.
Hiroyuki Sanada's back. He's Scorpion. The insert Cole Young main character is back, unfortunately. But
whatever. Take your lumps.
Exactly. What do you think? You want some more Mortal Kombat?
I really enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the animated one that came out. I haven't seen the...
There's a bunch of the animated ones.
Yeah, I've only seen one, though. I saw the Johnny Cage one. I thought that one was pretty fun. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely here for it. I like this, push to, have more Mortal Kombat stuff, so... I
agree. I like Mortal Kombat. The first movie wasn't amazing, but it was solid fun, and I think that more of the same is, hopefully better, but I think still good potential for it to be cool. We're gonna get Shao Kahn in this one, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
Quan Chi.
Cool.
Quan Chi's gonna be in this. More Shang Tsung. Maybe they'll actually have a goddamn tournament in this one. I think that was the biggest issue I had with that. It was sure. The first one was just let's have a tournament without actually having a tournament. These people are just fighting and shit, for no fucking reasons. Well, okay. All right, Shang Tsung, you little cheating bastard. Anyway, November 7th, 2 movies, Predator Badlands.
Ooh.
This is the Prey follow-up. Dan Trachtenberg, director of Prey, doing this. Future setting, predator traversing an alien wasteland. Stars Elle Fanning in the lead role. Pretty cool. Theatrical release for that. Budget of $100 million. Okay. All right. Future setting, $100 million budget doesn't seem crazy. I will say that. It's Karate Kid. What the fuck is that money going towards? Jackie Chan. I guess we answered that.
Yeah, it's all going to Jackie.
The Running Man as well. This is the Edgar Wright reimagining, new version, at least, of The Running Man, which is based off of a Stephen King book. There was a 1987 Schwarzenegger adaptation made. It's basically TV show where criminals are basically being hunted by killers.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of that, but Edgar Wright doing his own take on it with Glenn Powell and others involved. Josh Brolin, Lee Pace, Michael Cera's in it apparently. So those are your November 7th movies. November 21st, Wicked for Good. No longer Wicked Part 2. Even though Wicked 1 was Wicked Part 1. Why the fuck did they change it now? Who knows? Don't ask questions. But it's Wicked for Good, which is based off of a song title for a song that will presumably feature in the second part and the completion of the Wicked, movies. Which, both of us, I think, were surprised, I think, with
for sure.
The quality of the first Wicked movie, certainly relative to the marketing materials that we got. So I think it'll be a theatrical trip for me on this one. I'm looking forward to seeing the resolution to it all. Let's put it that way. And November 26th, Zootopia 2, long-awaited sequel to a movie that's, that first movie is great. That shit came out
the baby just watched
forever
it.
ago.
Yeah,
but it's a really, really good movie. Judy Hopps, is that right? She's like a little
for sure,
old traffic officer. Yeah.
No, nobody believes in her. She doesn't want to be a traffic officer.
Well, yeah,
she wants to be a real fucking cop.
Yeah, that's bullshit duty. So that's what. They
and then, homie, the
fucking
the fox,
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman crushes it, dude. Yeah.
Maybe he's a little hard to him. I feel like he's like trying to be a con man, but maybe there's a little more something underneath the surface, man.
Fabulous stuff.
Great movie. I think a sequel is definitely long overdue. Looking forward to it. I think that'll be good. Really looking forward to that. And one entry in December 19th, Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Oh, big one.
It's not the Seed Bearer. They decided to change the working title, which is good.
Good move.
Move. Smart move. Avatar, Fire and Ash. Third installment of, I think, Planned 5 and Jimmy C. James Cameron's Avatar franchise, epic franchise. This one's got Fire Navi in it. Fire and Ash.
I wonder what they're all about, the Fire Navi. Probably red.
They dwell in a volcano.
Jesus Christ.
It's pretty intense, right?
Why? Why don't you...
Because they're fucking Fire and Ash, baby.
They're like Gorgons? Gordons?
Yeah, pretty much. That's my general impression. I am assuming they're red, but I actually don't know that will be true.
Well, they better be made of fucking rock, I guess. They better be like gray. Because, they were side and side of a volcano.
I guess gray could work. I don't know. Because like the water ones were a different shade of blue from the forest ones. So like I'm assuming that like skin color, skin tone is like reflective of your environment. Like that's a thing with the
that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's true of people too in some ways. So yeah.
If you live in a volcano, though, you better be.
Yeah. Well, that'll change things for sure.
That's a tough environment, dude.
You better be well suited to your environment, or you're going to have a real rough go of it.
Like why? How do we even explore that story? What happens when a blue Navi jumps into a volcano?
I don't know. That's that's a good point. That seems like it's going to be really, really hard to survive under those conditions. Maybe they'll have
why are you here?
Breathing apparatuses and suits and stuff to adapt to that environment, because like that's what Link does. Link's got his fucking fire armor or shit, so he can walk around on fucking lava.
Yeah, gravity boots, that sort of thing.
They're gonna have to have shit like that. So anyway,
In
I
the
mean,
weeds. I'm sorry.
who knows what the fuck Jimmy C's up to with his Avatar movies, but the last one, Spider's Side, was pretty good. Spider's back in this one, I think, unfortunately, but maybe he'll get killed this time.
It's the one with the dreads?
Yeah, or maybe they'll force him to cut his dreads off. You know,
Ooh.
that would be an improvement at least. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like those Avatar movies are like, it's the weirdest thing. Every time I think about either of them, I'm like, I just don't have it in me to care. But if I watch those movies, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like,
all right.
They're pretty good. And like, obviously, both of them made stupid amounts of money. This one has a $250 million budget, and it's a lot of money. But I'm like, you know what? Fucking CGI lava people. I get it. You know, CGI water,
a lot of work.
People. There's a lot going into this. It's probably going to be 3 hours. You know, it's going to fucking push the boundaries of technology. Like, I kind of get it. It's
probably
like,
going to look really nice too. Yeah.
How is an Avatar sequel 2.5 Karate Kids? That's my question. You know what I mean? Like, what?
What if Jackie Chan's actually a CGI guy?
That must be it. Yeah, that's the reveal. Karate Kid Legends. Jackie Chan was never on set, fully.
And
he sold
his likeness for the movie. You know,
that's definitely possible. It would explain a lot. I'm not excited for Avatar, but by the same principle, I'll almost certainly see it, and I'll probably almost certainly like it, and probably almost certainly have, if nothing else, really nice things to say about the visual effects of it. So, you know, it's not the most exciting December movie for me, but
it's there. It's cool.
It's going to be a big one.
It's no Nosferatu, but you know.
Yeah, well, you know what is, right? You know, so
what is?
Yeah. So there you have it. That's the full calendar slate. We're not done. We have a couple more things. I promise they're small. A couple undated movies that stuck out to me. Talked about Knives Out a lot. Wake Up Dead Man is going to be coming to Netflix in 2025. That is the third Knives Out movie from writer-director Rian Johnson. Another ridiculous cast. Daniel Craig back as Benoit Blanc. Joining him are Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, Daryl McCormick, Thomas Hayden Church, and that looks to be it for the main cast. So, stacked cast. Don't know necessarily, I don't think what the setting is going to be this time, but, or, you know, what, you know, but murder mystery, certainly.
Yeah, for sure. Another fun one.
Blanc on the case. Looking forward to it. And as we talked about, lots of Frankensteins happening, including Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which is going to be coming to Netflix at some point this year, with Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein, Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's monster, Mia Goth, Christoph Waltz, Lars Mikkelsen, Charles Dance, and Ralph Ineson in the cast with them. It's Guillermo del Toro. You really don't need to say anything else, but the fact that it's a fucking Frankenstein thing is man. Yeah.
Awesome. And that might be a Nosferatu for the end of the year. That could be.
Yeah, and that might be towards the end of the year, so it really could fill that Nosferatu void, quite literally. Yeah. I agree. And so we close things out with our, well, here are some things we definitely won't be seeing in 2025, because maybe once upon a time they were dated for 2025, but they ain't making it in 2025. So some things we won't be seeing include Aang, The Last Airbender, which is an animated feature film that is going to be theatrically released, which is a continuation of the Avatar, The Last Airbender series. James Cameron somehow got his way, and now there won't be two Avatar movies coming out in the same year. So The Last Airbender movie is going to be coming sometime. I think it's early 2026. It's already dated for, so it's been pushed out of 2025. It was originally, I think, October or something like that. Not happening anymore. You will not be seeing any Star Wars movies in 2025. I think they were on a typical track of Avatar one year, Star Wars the other year. And I think that will be true because Mandalorian and Grogu will be coming out in 2026, but not in 2025. So no Star Wars movies. You'll have to be content with Andor. Skeleton Crew, I think, finished up this year as well. If you watch that. Visions. There is Star Wars out there, but it's not going to be the most Star Wars heavy year. But I mean, you got Andor though, so I think we can probably cast most complaints aside based on that alone. The continuation of the Fast franchise is not happening this year. Fast X Part 2 or Fast 11 or whatever the fuck it's going to be called. Jason Momoa is just reprising his role in the Minecraft movie, as we saw, so you can at least see the continuation there as you await the reveal of what happened at the end of that Fast X movie where everyone died, maybe, but almost certainly didn't. But, Gal Gadot's back and Charlize is back and everyone's ready to kick ass, but we haven't had a follow-up to that in years, and no one seems to be in a rush to make a movie, so it might just be the end of the franchise. We'll see. And then last but not least, kind of sort of least, I guess, in some ways, The Batman Part 2 will not be making its way to theaters in 2025.
Oh, man.
It had not been expected to be in 2025. It had been expected to be in 2026. And bad news, it's now October of 2027 that it is currently dated for. So we are a long fucking away from getting more of The Batman. We did have The Penguin, obviously, to sort of fill the void, but it's still a pretty substantial 5-year gap between The Batman and The Batman Part 2, which, is unfortunate. But at the end of the day, if it's what it takes to get the movie right and not just rush it into production for the sake of making it, you got to let the filmmakers do their thing, So,
let them cook.
No, The Batman Part 2 in 2025. So, those are kind of the big ones that stood out to me. Of hey, maybe we could have gotten this, but we're not. And that's it. And that's 2025. That's 2025. Can you believe it? We made it through the whole goddamn list, all 43 pages of it.
Wow, incredible!
So many Wikipedia entries I just looked at. Yeah. All right. So last question, and then we'll wrap things up. How's the film side of things looking in 2025?
I think it looks pretty good. I think we've got some bangers coming out this year.
I'm pretty
excited about it. Yeah.
What's like maybe one or most anticipated, top 2 or 3 most anticipated for you?
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Sure.
The Final Reckoning. Pretty excited about that.
Mission Impossible, of course.
Okay. What's another one we talked about?
Michael? No.
Yeah, Michael, Ares.
Superman.
Superman, definitely for sure. Definitely excited about Superman.
Yeah, I think Superman might be tops for me.
Good 3.
There's some good ones in there that I'm really looking forward to, but Superman is kind of the one that I think because we had that trailer, I'm like, oh no, it's
going to be a banger for sure. It's going to be an emotional movie.
Yeah. So all right,
good year.
We'll check in on some of these things, and definitely not some. But we'll cover what we can. We'll talk about what we can. We can't all watch The Gorge, The Monkey, The Legend of Ochi, Disney's Snow White. We can't. We just couldn't possibly cover it all, and we probably wouldn't want to. But the things that we will want to cover, some will fall by the wayside, but we will cover everything that we can, that we have time for, that we have the energy and space for. So that's going to do it. That's your look ahead to 2025. So many things on tap. So look forward to all of those things. I know we're looking forward to many of them. So,
that's
I'm going to go ahead and say thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. We are on Patreon at patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. This is the part that I plugged very, very early in the episode, many hours ago. If you want to get early access to all of our regular episodes like this one, in January, you could have had access in January because you're listening to this after January. You could have gone to patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat, chipped in $2 on a monthly basis. You would have gotten access to this episode, but it's not too late. You can still do that. You can get access to all of our regular episodes in the future, which is going to be obviously all the stuff that we're talking about in 2025, many, based on these shows and films that we just previewed. So, and maybe some bonus episodes, maybe a lawyer bonus episode or whatever the fuck.
That sounds
some
fun.
medical shit. We could do that. We've got other bonus episodes. something that this is not going to be a bonus episode necessarily, because I think we'll treat it as a regular episode, but we're going to hit 300. We're going to hit episode 300 this year. So
should we watch 300
milestone.
on episode 300?
We could do that. we could find another thing to do, but we could do 300. That would be one way of tackling it for sure. That way we could just call the episode 300, which would be kind of funny. It's not a bad idea, actually.
300 times 1, 300. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. But, we're going to hit a milestone again. 100 we did our favorite films. 200 we did favorite TV shows. So, we've kind of covered the two big ones. I don't know what the hell we're going to do for 300.
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
just 300. But
we'll figure
we'll see.
it out.
We'll think about it. But big thing to look forward to. So, big year for us. Big year. Watch Review Repeat. 8 years in, or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat. Get on that. Website is watchreviewrepeat.com. We are on some socials. We are not on that website owned by a Nazi anymore. We are on Blue Sky at watchreviewrepeat.bsky.social. So check us out there. For now, we are on Facebook and Instagram. It doesn't seem to be a Nazi, but he's definitely doing some questionable shit. So we'll see if that lasts. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's all fucked. To be quite honest, it's all a bit fucked. And so, we don't have a huge ton of, a ton of traction on social media, but it would obviously be nice to have presence on these things, but it feels a little dirty and gross to be on platforms that are just content to be straight propaganda and censoring shit at this point, so don't love that. But anyway, we have a website. It's watchreviewrepeat.com. We maintain that ourselves. We are not Nazis. Please support us. So we're doing the bare minimum here, because that's apparently all we need. That's all. Who knew that we would end up here at this point in history? But here we are.
Sure.
But anyway, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, thoughts on, things coming in 2025, thoughts on, these movies and TV shows as they come out, send them our way, watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. Our intro and outro tracks, Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. We don't know what we're going to truly kick our coverage off with. We've got obviously a lot of options from the early parts of the year on the TV and movie sides of things, but it's just going to be a question mark once we have gone back and done the actual 2024 a year in review coverage. Then we will need to figure out where we are in time and figure out what we're going to cover next. So obviously, like the big ones like Captain America we'll probably cover. Maybe that's even the first thing that we'll cover out the gate, but maybe we'll do a thing or two before that. So TBD. That's a conversation Andrew and I will be having.
It's
probably not for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So it's really just once we're ready to kind of have that conversation, we'll figure it out, and we'll be back. We'll be back to the regular shtick, dad jokes, fun facts, news, content,
good times.
The regular deal. We'll be back. We'll be back in action with the regular format, and hopefully maybe trying to keep them under 3 hours. Mission failed here, but alas. Either way, Andrew.
Hey,
why don't you take them out?
Happy New Year, and take care now. Bye then.
Laters on the Menche.